Good evening, Clashers and Clashettes, coming to you live from NGE Studios in beautiful Burbank, California. This is the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Opens. Representing Frozen Peak for the final time, I'm Christian.
And Builders Workshop, I'm Ella.
And tonight we are bringing you the final 8 of the top battles in Clash Royale that you can see right now. This is it. The 16th champion will be crowned after tonight's coronation.
It's so crazy. Over hundreds of thousands of you guys have been playing in the past few weeks, and if you don't know what comes next, take a little look at this video.
It's gonna be a pretty sweet video.
It's gonna be awesome once it plays.
We got a special for you guys. Check it out.
Well, 16 people are gonna go on to the arena battles.
Yeah.
And then 8 will move on to the crown duels, where one lucky winner will take home $15,000 out of a $100,000 prize pool. And it's going to be awesome. They get a trip to Supercell headquarters. It's crazy.
All the way to Helsinki. So if that was a little too in-depth for you, here's a really simplified version. Check it out.
The arena battles are coming up. 16 players will become 8. It's the choppening. Wait, has anyone coined that yet? Choppening? That's mine. I call that. Can't wait for those sweet, sweet residuals.
That was a great way of saying that.
Yeah, residuals.
Residuals. Okay, well then, wait. So that was down to the 8.
So that's 8. That was 16
to 8.
And then 8.
Yeah.
And then what happens? What happens next?
8 duelers, 1 epic event.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Makes sense. There you go. Just like that. And again, what these guys are playing for, the grand prize out of all of this, $15,000 to first place, and that is it's a lot of gems.
Yeah, that's a lot of gems.
And I was gonna reach out to you guys. If you guys want to participate, you guys got to make sure. But it's actually too late.
You're done.
This is the
you
final
have no more
night.
chances.
Yeah, and again, we are now down to our final top 8. Where the first place of tonight will be taking home $2,000. Second place, $500. Third and fourth, $300 each. And finally, 5th through 8th, $100. Again, tonight is it. This is it. This is the final ticket that we are giving away. Before we take a look at who our top 8 competitors are, just a quick reminder here. At the Clash Royale North American Opens, we run the standard tournament cap with the double deck submission. All you'd have to do if you're a competitor
you
just got to submit both of your decks. Have to be unique, and by unique we mean at least 4 cards different. To move on, it's very simple. You just got to beat your competee with both of your decks before they beat you with theirs, and boom, you are one step closer to the prize of glory, fame, and honor on all the interwebs.
It's just so easy.
Yeah.
But you can't do it anymore because this is the last night.
Yeah, last one.
Sorry, we already told you, give you warning. Now you have to watch.
Sorry, not sorry. Let's take a look at now who our top final 8 are of the night. Up first, ATX Nosaj, or Jason backwards, versus Mao.
I didn't even notice that. Tim 2 versus Jank Conkers.
Third, we've got a brown bag versus a mango.
And finally, we have Esopa versus Lemon.
All right, there are a lot of returning players, but also a lot of new ones tonight.
Yeah.
So let's go over to the couch again for the final time. On the red caps, joining me, as always, host and creator of the Super Magical Cup. Hercules. It's Rainy. Good to see you. But guys, you can make it for the final one.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could make it
through.
I'm so glad I could make it too.
I'm so glad that both of you guys are here. Over here, I have YouTuber, streamer, overall awesome person, the Rumham.
And you're only trapped with me for one more show,
night.
and then
one more night.
run far, run away,
then run really ham.
What they don't know after the cameras turn off, we start just
this
brawl.
Yeah,
but it's brawls of
it's
love.
Like
it seems friendly, but no.
Deep
hatred of each other.
Opposing sides.
So just the red versus blue couch actually really goes far back for generations. All right, guys, this is it. This is the final coronation. This is number 16.
I just feel like the sad emote, you know?
It feels bad.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
I can't believe. I'm just trying to think back to what our first coronation day was like. And it was just expos everywhere. The thing is, I think the thing that makes it feel all the more nostalgic is because the first coronation day was the beginning of a new kind of era in Clash Royale, a new update hit. And as well, new cards were being released as we were doing the tournament. And so the meta was shifting incredibly. And it was a departure from what I and Rumham had saw in the season 2 of the Super Magical Cup, right? We had some expectations coming in, and they were definitely
blown.
They were definitely just blown out of the water.
Cards, right?
And there's going to be cards even released, not just the balance updates. There'll be a balance update and probably more cards before the crown duel. So even the 16 players who make it today will have to
Just keep being up to date.
like,
Yeah.
keep
They
up
can't
to
just be
date.
like, cool, got my.
Yeah,
got,
No, you're
using
not
the same
done
deck.
yet.
Not
So,
done yet.
but you know what is almost done?
Tell me.
Haikus. You guys, you're not gonna have to listen to me beg for haikus anymore. It's the last night. Please do it. Do it for me.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, you're acting like you're begging. They are abundant with haikus.
Yeah, they love it.
The community has been shooting haikus at me like 24/7.
My dad-
I get them in the
Read
middle
this
of the
one, read
night.
this one,
My
read this
dad
one.
sent me 4 haikus
Holy
tonight, so
snap.
I'm gonna pick
Oh,
one
yeah.
of them and read them. But I'm also gonna read
Poet
one
laureate.
from
Yeah.
you guys. So make sure to send it #ClashNAOpen 575. Syllables, not words. It's the last time I get to say it.
Dang it.
Dunked.
Dang. Boom roasted. All right, that's right, guys. Also, let us know who you want to read them, and when we come back from the break, we will be reading those. We also have a little a teaser video to give you guys at the break, so don't go anywhere. There's a little special treat that we have been graced to show you, and that'll be happening during the break as well. All right, before we take a look at our first matchup, which is going to be ATX Nosaj versus Mao, I want to kind of gauge, Rumham, Rainey, your kind of favorite moment so far, favorite deck archetypes that you guys have seen up to this point. Again, we've had 15 Coronation days before this, going back about a month. So what has been kind of like the highlight for you? What was a really fun deck that you were like, wow, that's really interesting to see?
You know, I really liked Backstab's Royal Giant Furnace control deck. We saw it kind of come up and down based on how many expos you were expecting to see. I've always been a big fan of Royal Giant. We actually did, Rainey did a feature video on that deck, and it really cracked me up to see the comments on YouTube. Very not happy. People, what was funny about
Really?
people, but people were really mad about it because they were like, "Oh, Royal Giant, more Royal Giant." But what was interesting is it made me realize how much of my elite tournament bubble that I live in here, where facts say that Royal Giant's kind of an underdog in tournaments, and I was really excited to see Backstab pull that out. That was probably the most hyped I was for any one deck to win a tournament, and it just shows how different tournament Clash Royale is from maybe what you might see on the ladder. Very balanced, a lot of diversity. We've seen, I think, 7 different archetypes win a Coronation Day.
Yeah.
And
And a lot of unique cards as well that have been in those archetypes. All right, Rainey, what about you?
If I were to, man, it's hard to boil it down into the moment, but just the idea that
Goblin barrels.
there are cards, exactly, and there are cards like Goblin Barrel, there are cards like Golem, cards like Inferno Dragon, cards like Baby Dragon, Graveyard. That's my favorite part to me, because after casting so many tournaments and seeing meta decks being played over and over and over again, it's just really great to see that shifting. And I think that there have been some intentional steps taken in Clash Royale to really shake things up and change things around. And I think that the fact that these new cards keep showing up, we never would have imagined that we would see Baby Dragon. Never. And the log, right?
Barbarian Hut.
Barbarian Hut.
Inferno Dragon?
I mean, just
It's a newer legendary. I might expect it. Barbarian Hut's been bad for about as long as I can remember. And it's been one of the MVPs the last few weeks. Oh, look at that Graveyard go!
Poor little Barb.
That Graveyard is super effective. Talk about Graveyard.
That was a
Just
Graveyard
imagine,
freeze.
remember back when the log first came out, it was to the point where we saw community posts where people were like, oh, I'm a little upset I got a legendary, but it was the log. And there were people in the chat that say, hey, just wait. You know, one day the log will be improved and put into a good spot, and oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the most played spell right now.
Crazy.
Yeah, it seems like even when Lightning or Fireball have kind of gone out of cycle, Log stays strong.
Here it comes, Ice Spirit Hog Rider, and it jumps onto the boulder, and that's going to give the Hog Rider a lot of extra swings. That's really great.
Taking a look at the 2 decks here, Mao is running a Hog Rider control deck using the Inferno Tower as a very elite defensive card against all these big tanks. And ATX Nosaj is playing Bowler Graveyard Freeze as his main win condition. This is similar to the Bowler control decks we've seen the last few weeks, where there's really not like a giant or a golem or anything to put in front of it. It's just the Bowler on defense and then using Graveyard along with some mini tanks like Ice Golem to push toward the damage that you need.
And I think ATX is really, really looking all game long for the key moment to throw down the freeze. Freeze is going to be it's probably not going to be a very used card, but it's going to be very key when Nosaj does plan to employ it.
Yeah, he's only played 1 so far and managed to do about 800 damage to that tower. Let's see if he pops it again here.
We'll see. It is. There it is. And already the skeletons are beginning to pile up. The Zap is used to try to keep control of the situation.
Wow.
300 damage for it, but one of the archers is removed and the other one is low health. So we'll see. We'll see if, depending on how this defense goes, it could change the way that I justify that push. But I think he does fairly well.
I don't know about that Ice Golem. I mean, I understand, you know, Hog Rider's not going to get distracted by Ice Golem, and it obviously just walked to its death into the Inferno Tower, so I'm not really sure that was the best use of that card.
Do you think it was to stop, because last time he paired it with the Ice Spirit and it got a lot of damage, do you think that was an Ice Spirit defense just in case he didn't want to drop one behind it?
I mean, I think he was hitting 10 Elixir and had to play something, but that was not necessarily the most efficient thing he could play here. Although Mao, even though he hasn't made that many attacks, his attacks have actually been really potent when they go through, and Nosaj going into overtime here is really, oh no! And that Ice Spirit's going to freeze the Mega Minion very soon, and he gets the Tombstone down in time.
Wow. That was incredible. I mean, Mega Minion freeze as a defense is already 7 Elixir, plus he played the Tombstone, so that was 10 Elixir defense.
Hog Rider's already back.
Oh,
Two more Fireballs will be enough to do it if this Hog Rider isn't going to swing, and it doesn't!
He's going to spend health on the right side tower, and I like that move because the right side tower is pretty irrelevant.
At this point, Nosaj is going all in on the left lane. He's got so much Elixir built up there. I mean, over 10 Elixir already with the freeze to steal the deal. He's got to do this before the next Fireball. If Fireball comes out, he's going to lose the game.
Oh, this is got to be
he's going to win.
Oh, went down. ATX Nosaj beating out the Fireball there. Taking the first game of our round of 8.
Freeze is the precision spell.
Wow.
It's kind of like being an expert freeze player is like being a long-range marksman, right? You're looking for the key time, and then you place that card exactly when it's most called for. That was exactly the situation you would want to use.
I was going to ask about that. What else is ideal, do you think, in a graveyard freeze deck? In anything, or what do you need to back that up?
I actually think that can get the job done on that's a 9 Elixir push. I mean, that's a significant investment to pull it off. The trick is catching a good freeze target. I think you're going to want something that costs at least 4 more. Now, we saw him use freeze kind of effectively against the Archers, it only costs 3. But the ideal catch is like Barbarians, Minion Horde, Bowler, something big and expensive and slow that can usually get killed by the skeletons and then move on to the tower. But,
one thing we talked about as well, because we didn't see freeze early on, and Rama made the point that the power of freeze is the higher it gets, its duration is increased. And at tournament cap, it's usually it's not super well, but these guys are still using it pretty effectively.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Graveyard be such a hit or miss card. Like, if there's no defense for Graveyard, take down the whole tower.
You're done.
If they do have a defense, it can be worthless. So think of freeze as sort of doubling down on the Graveyard plan. You've spent 5 Elixir on Graveyard, they spend a bunch to defend, and you just double down and go, you know what, freeze everything. And if it works, that'll take a tower.
Yeah.
Not only for a pretty low cost, 9 Elixir isn't that much to spend on taking a tower, but you get to do it from anywhere you want, anywhere on the board, right? You don't have to cross the river or anything like that to get there.
We also saw him use it on defense as well.
Enjoyed watching a video today or yesterday evening on Reddit of somebody who placed Graveyard and then mirrored the Graveyard on somebody's king tower.
Wow.
And then he froze a tower and he got a 3-crown without doing damage to the other 2 towers.
I love that.
It was great. It's fantastic. But here comes another. Wow. 2 decks with freeze? No, this time it's Mao playing with freeze, and he's playing it with a Hog Rider deck.
So he has 2 Hog Rider control decks. One ran the lightning setup, I believe. No, he didn't have lightning, he had Fireball. And then the other one, and then this one is running freeze in place of Fireball, along with some other substitutions.
Hog freeze is coming back. Man.
Fun deck.
Yeah. Really a lot of fun. A lot of people.
Freeze coming back.
Real
Hog
fun.
lightning.
It depends on which side you're on, I guess. Yeah.
When it's coming against you, it's not super fun.
There are a few things in this world more satisfying than freezing like a squad of barbarians that have been come to body block and kill your Hog Rider, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna run past you.
What world are you in again?
Sick world.
A world where there's not many fun things left.
Oh no.
Oh god, the arrows take it down.
Yeah, that princess is not happy. I just wanted to go for a walk.
The downside here, Mal's deck doesn't really have anything else that you would arrow. Just looking at it, you know what I mean? Like, what else are you going to arrow in this deck? You just really the princess. So that princess is going to pretty much always get arrowed off the face of the earth.
For her.
Yeah. Wow. Jason's both spent lightning on the Inferno Tower as well as zap and still didn't really get significant damage on the tower. He is ahead in tower health, but I have to imagine that was an expensive push for almost no gain.
Yeah, both of these decks are running triple spells, which makes it really hard to push through a wimpy attack. I mean, you're going to have to really commit if you... Oh, there's a good freeze! There's 2 skeletons that will finish it off. But after how much damage...
That was pretty much optimal. Just as I said, I mean, the skeletons basically couldn't kill it by the time the freeze was done, and then the bullet would kill it anyway, so.
Giant was far enough back, or the Inferno Tower's far enough back, there's not a really good lightning there. Oh, and he uses the lightning way too late. I don't think at that point, if you were thinking about using lightning, just let it go. Just let that push die out at that point because you end up spending 6 elixir just to kill a Mega Minion.
Yeah, Bowler gets a good roll on the tower and a second one as well. That's really worth it. It seems that right now, Freeze is really hurting Mao because on the counter push, that Bowler seems difficult for Mao to deal with. Plus the Giant and having to deal with Lightning, Jason seemingly, or Nosaj seemingly getting a little bit of damage here and there.
Now that's a much better lightning. You're taking at least 7 elixir worth of stuff off the board.
Ooh, but the Hog Rider still is going to get value, and that's kind of the strength of the card.
You know, was that a time there where you want to pre-fire arrows?
I mean, he might have played archers, right? And if he plays archers in that spot and you arrow, you don't get really anything out of that, right?
You've already spent the freeze as well.
Yeah. And that was oh man, that Mega Minion though is going to shred both the Giant and the Bowler coming up behind. The Bowler might get 1 or 2 rolls. Oh, another freeze.
Wow. But yeah, it seems really tough for Mao right now.
Yeah.
Nosaj seems to just defend the push half well. I mean, it's not like he's not damaging the tower. Mao is getting swings in, but it's just a counter push that seems really impossible for Mao to stop.
If he gets 1 more good hog freeze in here, like that one, this might be the end of the game. These 2 swings, 1 swing.
Check out the second one. Just like that. Mao Hog Rider freeze showing that it is not out until it's over, and Mao's going to tie it up 1-1 against ATX.
It's one of those cards. It's just one of those cards.
Good old combo.
You know you're ahead, but you know, sometimes, and it's misleading. I was misleading people as well. Tower health is not necessarily an indication of who is ahead or behind, but in many cases it is. It's kind of a...
If you got 2,000 health on your tower, your opponent's got 500, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
But you're right there. There was only about a 200, 300 health difference, and what's that? 1 hog swing?
Yeah.
And you can make that up if you have the right timing and the spells in hand. The thing that really shocked me was that Jason, or Nosaj, continually was put into a situation where a Hog Rider would come down and he put way too much elixir close to the tower. It was Bowler right in front, minions on top of the Bowler. You got to sort of space that out a little bit and at least make it not so easy to grab your entire defensive army in a single freeze.
Okay.
So right now, Mao's going to be going back to his Fireball Hog Rider deck against the Giant Bowler. How do you think that's going to pair up?
Tough to say. I think freeze was almost the only way that Mao was able to get damage in that game.
Okay.
Just between the minions and the bowler.
That's a good point.
And you know, and it was just those extra swings. We saw all game long that Mao was taking a little bit of damage, but taking much more damage in return. Now, if he can't get that damage, even that little bit that he was getting, how is he going to win the game?
Sure.
All right, we'll see, guys. We are now going into our final game 3 between ATX Nosaj and Mao. Let us know who you think is going to take it and move on to the semifinals.
Hog Rider has become such a popular card in the meta, and I almost wonder why people don't just go back to playing Cannon.
Yeah, because Cannon especially actually had some good timing because it can't be lightning too well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's expensive. I mean, you can kill it with the lightning, but that's a 3 elixir building you're killing for 6. That seems like an overspend.
And it
Nobody's
also
even
does
playing
not.
lightning anymore.
Yeah, it's true. People mostly moved back to Fireball, and maybe that's why people are playing Cannon.
The other thing about Cannon too is it's much less susceptible to something like Log as well, which is very popular. Hog Log is incredibly popular.
I got a lot of swings there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a huge opening for
He's
Nosaj.
still going.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow,
Again,
even Nosaj.
Giant health pool is always deceiving to me. It's
Yeah.
the one where I'm like, oh, it's going to die.
Yeah, you're right. It looks
Don't
like it
like
has
that.
10% health, and you're like, cool, the tower will take care of that one.
No.
3 swings later.
Never let the giant
4
live.
fireballs into your tower. That's all right.
So, at that point for me, it's always me just trying to justify my bad decisions. Like, yeah, I was okay with that.
I knew that was going to
I'll never admit when I made a bad play. It's just like, no, that was fine. That was okay. We're still working.
Face all bloodied.
They
I'm
triple
okay.
crowned me, but it's okay. Let's
Should have
do
seen
it.
the other guy.
Should have seen the other guy.
Uh-oh, here comes a Mega Minion Hog down the right side, and the Bowler's out of the hand, so there's nothing really to get in the way of it.
Man, spend 6 to use the lightning, but the Hog Rider is still gonna get 2 swings. Crazy to think about. You can spend 4 on that, have the Mini P.E.K.K.A. chop the Hog Rider away, and the Hog Rider gets like 1 swing maybe.
There's a card that I kind of expect to see coming back at some point, Mini P.E.K.K.A., because Giant, Bowler, Golem, Hog. Yeah, like there's so many cards that it's good against. The downside is with everyone playing Tombstone. Boy.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Yeah, it's so interesting because there's a lot of back and forth. People are playing Tombstone, you got the Log, or people are playing Skeleton Army, and you have the Log as well. I mean, this is how the meta cycles, right? It's always, when can we justify bringing the mini P.E.K.K.A? Oh, take a look at that. Only one swing. In that situation, in the last game, it would have been a freeze, and the Hog Rider would have gotten 3.
Absolutely. But even then, only a swing is kind of crazy. He spent 8 elixir on defense and was still not able to prevent damage. And when you get down into triple digits like this, every single bit of damage counts because you get vulnerable to these spell cycle attacks.
That's definitely true. Ooh, Giant took 1 extra swing. If those archers had been tagged onto the Inferno Tower rather than onto
Ooh, he knew it.
Nice, good use of the fireball, and a big zap is going to get Hog Rider. Still
2 swings!
Whoa.
And there it is, putting into fireball range. Looks like Jason's giving that good game and good luck as he moves on to think. Look at this gentleman's duel.
Oh, Mal's just such a nice guy.
Mao's thanking him for that. 5 seconds left. Gonna wait for it to go into overtime. I'll launch that fireball. There it is. The thing's coming out, and Mao is going to 2-crown Nosaj, moving on to the semifinals.
What an interesting turnaround. I've always kind of had in my head that Bowler against Hog Rider is kind of a good matchup for the Bowler, and you would think so, right? Because even if the Hog Rider does get a single swing, the Hog Rider player still has to deal with that Bowler coming across the river. And I almost think that it was the Inferno Tower that really hurt Nosaj more.
Yeah.
He had lightning and zap, but still could not get around the Inferno Tower, and that's a question that I'm gonna have to sit and think about.
I think Nosaj was really was using the minions on defense a little too often. Maybe try to put something else. Like, don't put the archers on offense. Use the archers on defense instead against the Hog Rider, and use those minions on offense to fly across the middle and get in the way of the Inferno Tower. That might have helped as well. I think the deceptive thing about Hog Rider is that Hog Rider has a ton of health, like a large hit point pool, and the Bowler doesn't do that much damage. So even though it's knocking it back, it's kind of pillow punching it while doing so, and it allowed the Hog Rider to still get up there and get a shot or two in. You really, Bowler's a lot like Ice Wizard, where it buys you a little time, it slows down the opponent with knockbacks as opposed to a slow effect, but you still need some other damage source in order to really kill anything that's really tanky, and a Hog Rider's pretty tanky, actually.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at our first replay of the Hog Rider, paired with a freeze. Getting a little chilly up in there.
Using the log, Ice Golem, Hog Rider, and Log have been such great combinations. And a big freeze landing for the
tower.
2 final blows.
Goodbye, tower.
So good. It's so good.
Oh, I wanted to ask you guys, you talked about adding mini P.E.K.K.A in to the meta somewhere. What kind of deck would you put that in?
Mini P.E.K.K.A fits in many decks because, kind of similarly to something like Mega Minion or Minions, normal Minions, or even Barbarians, Mini P.E.K.K.A is just, it pays for itself on defense, right? If it walks across the bridge and hits the opponent's tower, you're just like, yes! You're super excited.
I think you probably build your deck, and as you're looking at the last 2 to 3 cards in the deck, you go, oh, I really need good answers to Giant, Golem, and I want something that's not going to die to Lightning.
Yeah.
That's when Mini P.E.K.K.A shows up.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right. Well, congratulations to Mao for moving on to the semifinals. Now let's see who is going to be joining him. Will it be Tin 2 or Jake Conkers? Jake Conkers definitely returning. Tin 2
as well.
also returning. These are our 2 return. We had 2 new.
These
Yeah,
are
remember we called them Tintin.
2 of their final chance, really, to make it in here. And boy, have we got some cool decks. So, Tin 2 running Expo, pretty standard, right?
Okay.
Jake Conkers running Golem, Baby Dragon Lightning, pretty standard.
Great, the
but
meta.
their alternate decks, we've got a minor control deck, minor and Bowler Inferno Tower. So one of these Inferno Tower defensive control decks with minor, but triple spell, including Tornado.
Hey!
Gonna spin it up a little bit. Tin 2, his other deck is, which there looks like they're both running. Actually, Jake Conkers is running the Tornado deck right off the bat, and Tin 2 running the Expo. Tin 2's other deck is a Marcel P built quadruple spell cycle deck with Barbarian Hut.
My goodness.
It basically just spells your towers to death while casting Barbarian Hut. One of those spells, Mirror.
Wow.
Well, I hope we get to see it because that Expo just took a lot of health off of Jake Conker's tower.
Yeah.
Mirror is really great in spell cycle because the ability to shoot 2 rockets back to back, for example, is so key in closing out a match.
Yeah. Like you said, Mirror is just basically, you can look at it as 1 elixir to cycle.
Yes.
You know, and you do extra damage because it levels the card up.
Absolutely. So Jake Conkers here actually has a lot of tools against the Expo. He's got Inferno Tower, got Bowler, got Mega Minion. Oh, I don't like that Inferno Tower in the middle though because
that
you're not
can
going to kill the Expo.
Yeah.
Yes, the Inferno Tower is basically irrelevant in the defense now. It's going to soak up shots, but the Expo will happily just ping away while you deal with all the troops in front anyways.
Right. It looks like the Bowler will be now the next tank. That card's going to get... It's doing its job, though. It's got a lot of hit points, and that rock goes a pretty far distance.
Oh,
it prevents the... Oh, okay, one shot. At the tower.
One
shot.
bolt.
35 damage.
35.
I think so, yeah.
You just gotta do that 50 more times. You good?
Oh my god.
No time for that.
Ooh.
I like that timing there. I
Yes.
mean, he knew... I think that might have even been a pre-fired fireball. Like, he
Yes.
knew, think, well, whatever it is, I'm going to go ahead and shoot at it. Otherwise, I got to defend. Great, though, that it gives an opening for Tin 2 to open up that the Expo again, and he's going to do it. And there's he plays Bowler instead. He did have Inferno Tower in hand, but opted not to play it.
The Mega Minion is
This
going to
isn't
win
gonna
out
go very
that
well.
fight. I actually don't like... Oh, wow.
Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Oh, that's a tower gone.
Yeah, I think that's just about done. So interesting.
Keep him up. Keep him off the tower. Didn't work. Oh, and already on the other side, Tin 2 relentless with these Expos right now.
Got the Ice Golem down to tank for it, and now the Mega Minion is in front, and he's probably going to be looking to play some Chumpy Troop. Oh, the log will actually clear it out and locks
just
on
like
again.
that.
So
got another
interesting.
tower.
I just previously there was a moment where Tin 2 actually logged the Bowler while the Mega Minion was just about to attack it. I was very worried that the Bowler would have pulled the Mega Minion into tower range, and that push would have changed a lot, I think.
He's ignoring the miner on the right side just because it's fine. He's got a huge lead in damage right now. Doesn't really need to go for it or anything. Kind of doing the style points here, trying to set up another Expo just for funsies.
Well, there it is. 1 second left. That's going to be Jane Conquerors going down a match to Tin 2. He picks up 1-0 here in our second round debate.
That Expo deck looked pretty good against Bowler, which is kind of weird.
I mean, I think Jay Conquerors also got caught empty-handed a few times. The very
Is
first
that what
Expo,
happened in that second Expo? Because it was just went.
the first one, he didn't. I don't think he had Inferno Tower in his opening hand. The second time, I believe that Jake hit 10 Elixir first and was just trying to like play something out of his hand. The mistake there was playing Inferno Tower in the middle instead of playing anything else, and then having the Inferno Tower for the river to counter the Expo. And at that point, he was just sort of out of cycle, out of Elixir. That the third bow, where he drops the Bowler, he just had answers, had the Mega Minion ready to go, was ready to kill that Bowler, and once it locked onto the tower,
done.
See you later.
Bye.
The Tin 2's next deck's gonna be interesting. Let's see how this goes. I don't know which one Jake's gonna play. Might stick with the Miner deck, might switch to his Golem deck, but this Barbarian Hut deck is something we have not yet seen in this tournament, but yeah, Marcel P invented it after he won the Coronation. He'd been playing on the ladder.
Yeah.
It's Barbarian Hut, Ice Golem, Archers, Minions. Mega Minion. Those are the only 4 cards that are troops. The other 4 cards are spells. Fireball, Log, Lightning, Mirror.
So good. Well, here we go. We are going to see it. Tin 2 having to go to that other deck because this is the double deck format. You have to win with both before you can move on. Let's see if he can pick up his second win in 2-0 Jake. Or will Jake
I'm
tie
ready.
it up?
The goal here is that you play the Barbarian Hut early and pretty far up so that they can't really punish you with anything. It's really hard for Hog Riders to come down.
Okay.
Even the Miner and things like that. A lot of the things at the river might go and chase after the Barbarians. And then everything else, like they're going to spend probably 7 Elixir or more fighting the Barbarian Hut, and that gives you a good opportunity to spell stuff at the river. So just like that, we saw him get a free fireball basically on that tower. Might Lightning, if he wants to, might Lightning the Bowler just to get some damage on there, and why not?
This is going to be so interesting because I've always, when I first started playing this game, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I want to make a spell-centric deck where I can just do damage to a tower. So it's cool to see that these players who are so high up professionally, I can actually find a way to make that work.
Yeah, it's also a reaction to the game being defense being so strong in the game. I mean, we watch Giant after Bowler after Golem get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and really only one successful push goes through in a lot of games. So at some point you go, am I a sucker for attacking? Like, why don't I just pack more spells in my deck? Like, why cast Giant for 5 when I can just rocket the tower for 6 and not have to worry about the whole fighting thing?
And it's been working too because his win rate for the whole day of today is 90%. Meaning he's been winning with this spell deck. It's not just
I mean, he's
getting
hardly
away
been
with the
dropping
other
any
decks.
games.
Yeah.
Actually, and that's even crazier because today was the largest Coronation Day tournament we've had yet. Everyone who is sitting on their last-minute tickets,
I need to go now.
cashed him in. We had the largest one we've ever had. So he's cut through a deep field with a pretty startling win rate.
All right, we'll see if he can continue that win rate here against St. Conquerors. So far, his right tower is not looking too good.
Yeah, the bowler is pretty happy with this.
Yeah, bowler might be the secret weapon here against a lot of the cards in this deck.
Interesting.
I'm not sure what that's for. I don't know if that was a wow or an oops. Yeah, there it is.
All right.
Minor fireball, that bottom right tower is gone. 40 seconds left. Rumham Rainey, do you think that 10 can do it?
This deck isn't really built for this. Like, this deck is built to be very grindy. It does win its games, but it wins its games a minute and a half into overtime while taking very little damage on its own towers. So a lot like Expo decks, it doesn't play very well when down. Bowler seems to be the Achilles heel of this deck, but Jake Conkers only has Bowler in this one deck.
Oh yeah, now he has to switch.
He'll have to switch to a Golem deck, which might still be good, but we'll see, right? We've seen how great Barbarian HUD is against Golem.
Yeah.
So he will have a little bit more of an answer.
Tornado coming out.
He won with Tornado.
That's true. Is this the first? No, Tornado made it to the semifinals on that one Coronation, right? Couple Coronations ago, or did it drop in the round of 8?
I think he dropped in the round of 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was a 2-0 loss.
Okay.
The deck.
Well, then Jake Conkers potentially now picking up a game, tying it up 1-1. Maybe going to be the furthest person to take Tornado that we've seen. That'd be something.
It's so.
Well, I mean, I can't even joke about it. We've watched Barbarian HUD come out of nowhere, win a tournament. We've seen, Lava Hound, Graveyard, all these cards just sort of come out and be like, Goblin take a tournament.
I'm
So
just sitting
why not?
here
Why not
wishing
play
that Tornado had a grander appearance than just pulling a big minion onto the board at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It didn't
It's got a great sound.
It sounds like somebody's going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
and it's about as strong as that too.
I wonder what you could do to make Tornado a scarier card, or if it just needs more time to develop. You know what I mean? Like, is it
Probably
possible?
more time.
Just a little more time, because I have yet to see a lot of the great things we saw in OJ's video with Tornado, where it's like, oh, you can pull tanks into the other lane, you can do this. I actually have yet to really see that a lot. So I don't know if the Tornado players are just not used to reacting that quickly with it, or if those situations don't show up often enough to justify.
Well, it is Tornado. Maybe they just make it so that it affects air units a lot greater. And maybe then, maybe we'll see. All right, but here we go. 10-2 and Jake Conkers all tied up 1-1. The next victory will take someone into the semifinals.
The interesting thing is, I think Tornado should actually primarily be played on your opponent's side, because as the unit is walking towards the center point of the Tornado, it pulls much more strong. And I think that's when you want to try to do things like lane switch, or, for example, when a Golem is dropping and it's deploying, that's also when it gets affected a lot because it's not actually moving.
Sure.
And so you can affect the positioning of the Golem when it's dropped, which is why I really like the idea of the Tornado Expo deck. But
An extra log.
yeah, but we'll see.
Even though it seems like this Golem is doing big work onto it, you got to remember that Barb Hut costs less than Golem.
Yeah.
True.
And 1964 on the left side, year.
About even.
Go.
What happened?
1964.
That was the Civil Rights Act was signed.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I do now.
Yeah, true
now that
story.
you mentioned it, I do remember that year.
All right, now here's the thing, though. We've seen how these Golem decks in double elixir and also into overtime absolutely dominate the battlefield.
Yep.
Is Tin's deck? You said it's also wanting to win, a minute and a half into overtime as well.
Right. Very, very slow. And actually, this is the sort of situation that Tin 2's deck wants to be in. Like 2 towers, nearly pristine, opponent taking about 20% damage, especially the first, kind of like Golem decks actually, the first 2 minutes are the most brutal for this deck because it doesn't generate elixir fast enough to really just start slinging spells. But what it really wants is the time when Jake is going to start building these Golem pushes to start lightning, fireballing, etc. while they're all passing the tower. 1860, the election of Abraham Lincoln.
All right, double elixir now about to go. 1631.
Founding of Roanoke. I'm making stuff up.
I'm like, wow, that was so
I only know
quick.
American history.
Wow.
good.
I'm
Predating America by too much time.
I'm sure there's somebody on chat giving you flack for being a silly American and not.
And they should. This is the North American Open. A lot of Canadian and Mexican
Yeah,
history I'm not
Mexico.
aware of.
big lightning on the hut as well as the tower, but that's not going to stop these two barbarians from popping out of their hut and taking this golem down.
Yeah, Barbarian has actually a pretty good answer to Lightning because it has so many hit points, a very underrated amount of hit points on that huge building. Now, Lightning only takes about like half of its health away for almost equal cost. Ooh, would like to hit that baby dragon.
Good way to think about this deck is that for it being spell cycle, really it should be defense first, and then the spell cycling is kind of the secondary function of it. Obviously, as we see from here, Tintu is having no problem stopping the golems, and so he actually has the leisure to kind of end the game at his own pace.
Yeah. Right. Now, if you are Jay Conquerors, obviously these guys are, the top players. He's knowing this, right? He knows that his golem is being super effective. He's seeing that he's being outpaced. What do you do to mix it up? Because if you just continue like this, you're going to lose.
Oh, the last 2 barbarians pop out just in time. If that little more damage had been done and those barbs hadn't come out, this could go very differently. Yeah, I think that Jake actually, I don't think he thinks his golems are ineffective. He's just trying out different lines of play to make it work.
Okay.
So we saw him last time lightning the barbarian hut and the tower. Didn't really work out. This time he actually lightning the 2 barbarians and I believe the mega minion at the river and allowed his golem to actually make a good connection with the tower.
It's interesting because in many ways, this is kind of like the Golem deck is acting kind of like the Expo deck that we've seen before, really. If you can't get your Golem to the tower, there are no other cards in your deck that really do the big damage for you. And so you're stuck in this situation that seems very one-dimensional.
Here comes the mirror lightning. There it is. 10-2. Mirroring the lightning. A wow coming out from Jay Conquerors, and that is going to be a 2-1, taking Tim to the semifinals.
Every round loss is got to be heartbreaking. This is the final Coronation.
This is it.
There are no more next time.
Yeah.
There's no, I'll get him tomorrow.
Yep.
So 10-2 holds on to his last strand of hope and moves on to the semifinals.
He's doing it,
Tornado.
buddy.
Sorry. Unless there's another Tornado deck coming up, we don't know yet. But
That's right. Tornado's yet to make a semifinal.
boo.
And Elite Barbs may never, because it doesn't come out for many more days.
True.
That's right. Will we see it in the crown duels?
Yeah, it'll be out by then.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, well, our first replay now is ready from that last matchup. Let's go up and check it out.
Expo, again, is so great. I think Expo is really kind of the instant people are not playing decks that are really strictly to punish Expo, it rears its ugly head.
Whoa. Crisscross Expo sauce.
Yeah.
Look at that, Tornado.
Look how it's not affecting that Expo. Maybe if it pulled towers. You can pull Expos away from range, pull Inferno towers away from range.
Pull the bolts out of the air.
There you go. Yeah, pull the bolts, make them cycle back, hit the Expo. These are all great ideas.
It's hard. I wish with the replays, it's sort of hard to show the totality of what happened there. But every single time a golem push tried to get started, it would get fireballed or lightning around the tower, and that damage just added up because these golems weren't actually reaching the tower ever. They were getting into the barbarians. The barbarian hut would fall just a little short, and 10-2 was able to grind it out.
Now, is Barbarian Hut the most health unit as far as buildings go in the game?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I've
got
not
more
checked
than
the
Inferno
numbers,
Tower.
but Elixir Collector may have been the only one that came close, but that got nerfed.
You're talking, February era Elixir Collector had a ton of health. But that's not true for
So, man, it's a great way to defend. All right, let's pull up the bracket now as we do have our 2 semifinalists so far. Again, in the final Coronation night, it is Mao and 10-2 who will be moving on. Up next on the bottom side, a brown bag mango and Esopa and lemons. We have.
So we have a chance for a mango versus lemon grudge match.
We can finally see which one's better.
Right. I'm a mango man myself, but
I gotta go with lemons.
Yeah.
But up next is a brown bag versus mango.
brown bag, very interesting character in the Clash-A-Rama community. He's a fun streamer.
Where is it?
He wears a bag on his head.
Brown bag on his head.
Yeah, he's got a brown bag on his head.
Yeah.
So he's actually streamed for probably hundreds of hours, yet no one's ever seen his face.
Love it.
A man of mystery.
Love it.
And if he gets to the arena battles or the crown duel, I think we'll continue to wonder who is this guy.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, wow.
He'll have to have an unbagging at some point, like
One day.
Luchador.
This is the
Just like
Me.
beautiful golden locks.
Yeah.
What I imagine is that he'll grab the bag,
And
he'll take it out, and it'll be another bag.
That's-
Season 2 of bags.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Against Mango, who we've actually seen before. Mango, I believe, is a player from Mexico. Member of one of the Spanish-speaking clans down
Nice,
there.
nice.
Has a lot of fans in chat who are giving a lot of support that I can't read. I'm sorry. But
But hey, give us your dates if you know what's happening in that history, in the history of your
Yeah.
area.
No, yeah,
Let us
In
know.
the 1562
We'll,
Mexican
we'll read it during break
history.
and we can
I
give you some
would
fun
love
little
a haiku that is historical.
a
That's a good
historical.
idea. Send
Spanish
historical
haiku.
Wait, I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, do that. Hashtag Clash-A-Rama.
Is this a card debut? We have
Oh,
a card debut.
oh,
right
it
now?
is.
Spear Goblins?
I think it is. I don't think
Spear Goblins made an appearance.
I don't think we ever seen Spear Goblins.
Welcome, Spear Goblin.
Making it in.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So Brown Bag playing Golem Graveyard and a more Zap Bait style graveyard deck with Inferno Tower as his other deck. Mango, the Barbarian Hut 3 Musketeer Hog Rider deck that has surged to popularity over the last couple Coronation days, and his other deck is a Minor Bowler Inferno Tower control deck.
Let's talk about, as again we see for both of the opponents right now, Mega Minion just reiterating just the power of that card right now.
Best card in the game.
Just seems like every single deck is using it, and if not, at least
it's
one.
like 15 out of 16 tag again. Like,
yeah.
Look at this guy right now.
Why
Look how
wouldn't
red
you
his
use
eyes
that?
are. Look how mad he is.
Super mad.
He's also just not existing anymore.
He died.
Yep.
Yeah, but just great on defense.
Yep.
And again, it was interesting because when I saw it when it was coming out, I was like, oh, this is going to be a sweet offensive card. We see what minions do to towers. Put them in armor, great. But it's amazing to see, again, what you think and what actually what they're used for.
2 words. Movement, speed.
yes. Definitely being a slower card has made it a little weaker on offense, but it is probably, like, it's an A-tier defensive card.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the best, most reliable defensive cards in the game, primarily because it cannot be removed easily by spells.
And it's flying.
And it flies, right?
Have we seen the deck already that doesn't have it?
Actually,
Or is that coming
Brownback's
up?
other deck,
Okay, yeah.
not the one he's playing right now, but his second deck does not have it. We've seen a handful. Most Coronation nights, the number of Mega Minions in decks is somewhere to like 14 to 15 out of 16 decks.
Yeah,
Almost
yeah.
every day.
It's so good.
Here it comes. Oh, this is just great.
Oh,
Great
go Archers, go.
entertainment. I would.
Well, no, the bowler's going to roll right through that tombstone. This next rock is going to hit not just the tombstone, but all the giant skeletons in it.
Bowler's having the time of his life.
And I believe the golem is going to try to push the bowler to turn around.
No, Bowler. Eyes on the prize. Stay focused.
That is his prize right now.
Oh, no.
Now, Brown Bag does
He's
not
trying to
have
put the
lightning,
rocks
but does
together.
have zap. So he can zap to reset it, but I don't think he has the damage to back it up.
Oh,
to,
he's going to choose
really
to
get
use
rid of the thing.
Graveyard. But I think this angle for the Bowler might be better, but it tags onto the Goblins instead. And still
Wow.
nice with
That's a
the
lot of
Archers
return
and the
defense.
Guards. Yeah, really made sure he took no damage from that.
Ooh. How do you defend that now?
Oh, those guards are moving quickly, and they've got shields, so they can't just log them away like you can a skeleton army.
Poked away just one skeleton,
All
but I
the
think the
bowlers.
Mega Minion will be able to control this push.
No.
Well, it looks like Mango's just going for the spell cycle now. One of the boulders does connect, 370. That's putting it near that lethal range.
Fireball plus log will not do it, but a miner plus a fireball is pretty likely to get there. Big down. Once again, we've seen Inferno Tower be so good on defense. I mean, I remember when that card was very recently had its hit points lowered, people were saying, oh, it's done, it's over with, no more. And that hasn't been true at all, really. I mean, that card is still incredibly dominant.
All right, Mango now just trying to stay alive, it seems, so he can, there it is. He's going to go ahead and choose to do the log. 1 hit, 2 hits,
no.
3 hits, and the final one with the fireball coming in is going to secure Mango his first victory against a brown bag. One more game, and he'll be going on to semifinals.
Graveyard looking extremely underwhelming in that matchup.
Right.
And we see that.
I think it's a smart decision to pick up guards in this case.
Yeah.
Especially when we've seen Graveyard be paired up with fireballs, with zaps and arrows and all these kinds of things. Skeleton Army just doesn't cut it. Archers sometimes doesn't even cut it. Guards is a one sure guarantee way to make sure that they're poking for a really long
Absolutely.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
So, a brown bag's next deck, little.
Well, he might stick with the
No,
golem
that's what I was
deck,
gonna
yeah.
ask. I think he should probably stick with that deck. It seems a little less tricky than the other one might be, right?
Well, it's weird because Mango's other deck is pretty much totally different. Instead of being a high tempo, minor fireball kind of aggro deck, Mango's
Three
next deck is the
Musketeers.
Barbarian Hut 3 Musketeer, Hog Rider kind of. That deck feasts on hiding against Golem lightning decks, right? So if I'm a brown bag, maybe I switch, but then again, like, it's kind of hard to say. Both are graveyard decks. Mango's second deck is going to have Archers and Ice Golem and Log, so there's no real obvious, like, oh yeah, it has no answers to graveyard,
Sure.
it'll be fine. So, I don't know. The nice part for Brown Bag, if he wants to stick with the Golem deck, is that Mango's second deck does not have Inferno Tower. So we saw how much that was stifling his attacks in the first game. Won't happen the second time.
All right, well, here we go. If Mango can pick this one up, he is going to 2-0 a brown bag and move on. See if the brown bag can tie it up.
Look at these clan names. Emergence. Eminence.
Lots of E's.
Ella.
Ella.
That's my new fragrance line.
Ella.
Emergence and the
Like Oprah, just one name.
Emergence.
Yeah.
Ella.
You can buy that on my Twitter.
What a log!
Buy that on Twitter.
That log took out Ice Golem, Spear Goblins, and an Ice Spirit. 3 cards fell into a single log. Although, Mango's Tower did take a lot of damage.
This is a great push because boop, there goes all the skeletons.
Yeah. Oh,
Man,
Wow.
that's what carried me, by the way,
Oh,
before the show.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
That right there, Ice Golem Hog Rider is what carried me back
Back to Legendary.
to Legendary Arena. So now I'm gonna sit there for a long time and
Yeah.
buy all the Legendary.
Yeah, just
That's right.
buy all the chests, don't play another game. Oh, we've all done that. That's what I do all the time when I move to the next arena.
I didn't do it the first time around.
He dropped back to
And now,
2200
and now,
your decks.
and now you learn. There you learn.
All right, Inferno Tower not super great against the Barbarian Hut because each Barbarian takes a while for it to warm up to kill each Barbarian one at a time.
Spear Goblin.
But
Look at
there's
them
not
go.
a ton else in Mango's deck they should be afraid of. I mean, I guess he's got to have an answer for the Hog Rider, but playing that Inferno Tower early kind of works against that. Oh, great Fireball!
Oh,
misses the
Just
other archer.
misses one.
So, talking about Spear Goblins as a card for a little bit, since we've only just started seeing it, Spear Goblins is a 2-cost drop that does a good amount of damage. The most important thing is that oftentimes it's something that your opponent almost doesn't want to respond to because it's so cheap. And so having it be played consistently over a long period of time nets you a lot of damage.
Yeah, not like I know anything, but I like Spear
You like the
Goblins.
green little guys?
I don't use them anymore, but I used to.
You know what we have seen a lot of was Fire Spirits used at the river, and you have to do something to the Fire Spirits or take a lot of damage. And in the same regard, like Spear Goblins are sort of the original card for that thing. When you're hitting 10, you would just cast Spear Goblins at the river, and what are you gonna do?
Right now, it looks like Mango is about to 2-0 Brown Bag. 40 seconds left. What does a Brown Bag need to do right now to make sure that he can take a tower down?
He's got to make sure this graveyard right here works, and if that means Fireball. He's got too much elixir in hand when the game's over in 30 seconds. Maybe he's got time for one more, but the Barbarians coming out of the Barbarian Hut make it really hard to actually pull
look at
anything
that.
off.
He's been spending the fireballs trying to make his graveyard work, but then he gets punished by 3 Musketeers afterwards. He really got beat down by that last 3 Musketeer drop, and this is really just trying to buy time and hoping that this graveyard does something big because he is about to lose on the right side.
Oh, and he gets it close to putting into overtime, but not quite. Going to fall a little short. Mango moves on to face his enemy Lemon.
There we go. Potentially, we might have that. We might have that matchup. But right now, Mango,
so.
the first 2-0 of the night.
Yeah.
Brown Bag though gets a donate to his stream of $100.
Hey!
Yay!
Pretty good night of playing for him.
Well done, Brown Bag. Well done
done.
indeed.
2-0.
Buy a brand
Throwback
new
to
bag.
last night.
You can buy some sweet bags with that.
Oh yeah,
I want to see him start painting the bag a different color.
make different faces and stuff.
Have
different emotes.
different
Themes.
faces.
Yeah.
Have rainbow stripes in his
This bag
bag.
tonight might have a sad face.
Oh no.
You could buy more like horn sounds on his thing. He's got one like a soundboard. It's like burr, 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 burr. He could
Yeah.
buy like new sound effects. That's
New horns.
new horns, yeah, like
loves
ska
those.
horns.
I love air horns. All right, let's go now into our replay. Mango 2-0.
I think Mango played very well. I think it's interesting how frequent we've seen Bowler today, a card that I feel like has been slowly increasing in popularity, and now I feel like today we've just seen them everywhere.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because it's new sound effects. That's it. That's why people are using
Subconsciously,
it now.
people love it.
Ice Golem Hog Rider is so great.
There it is.
When the Ice Golem pops, it not only does it get rid of Chumpy Troops, which is used commonly to defend against Hog Riders, but it also slows down everything around it, which is also very useful for Hog Riders because they just get more damage.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
noobs!
fantastic.
I knew that would catch your attention.
Wow, caught mine. I was like, that was really
Yeah.
aggressive.
I was like, hey!
Is she talking about me?
Send me your haikus!
I did
It's your
use
last chance! Do it!
It is. This is the last chance, guys.
Right.
Hashtag Clash-A-Rama open, please!
There we go. All right, now talking about people who are, let's say, people who are
Moving on.
not into like professional tournaments and people who come here, but people who are just playing the ladder. People who are watching at home who play this very casually. What are the main cards right now when you are building a deck that you should build against? What are maybe let's say the top 3 most popular cards, and then what do you do to counter that?
Big bodies.
Yeah.
Building
big tanks.
chasers.
Yep.
Okay.
You're gonna have to have an answer to Golem, Giant, even something like Royal Giant. They're all kind of similar cards in a lot of the ways where they are big health, not gonna fight units, are coming for your towers. Gotta have a way to do a lot of damage very quickly to kill them. And depending on how fast you can do that damage, this also applies to Hog Rider. Right? Hog Rider is is basically a same thing as a giant, right? How much damage can you do in a period of time? Giant's just a lot of health and a lot more time. Hog Rider's less health but fast right now, you know? I think other cards, you're going to have to deal with swarms. You have to have at least one zap or arrow or log or something in your deck because every deck is playing at least some sort of swarmy card, even if it's something like a minion horde or a skeleton army. Third, what else?
What about other flying stuff?
I would say
graveyard.
You definitely want to have a direct damage source, a spell of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah.
That will give you the flexibility to deal with oftentimes what your deck can't deal with, right? If you're a little weaker on swarms, if you have something like arrows or zap, that can really help you out. And that might be the answer might not necessarily being a bomber or a princess or something like that. It might just be a spell, and that could be good enough for you.
Right.
All right, well, there you guys go. Esopa, Mastery GG. This is the new...
Yeah.
You're right. Yep, we saw yesterday 2 members. We saw Colton.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh god, it's already taken over!
It's spooky! It's really scary here. Oh, and that
Actually,
pretty
even
good
gets a little bit more damage at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday we saw Colton and drawing a blank, but there was 2 members of the Mastery GG team. Rob Stark. Rob Stark and Colton ran the top 8 yesterday. But
Rest in
Esopa
peace.
is the 3rd member, a new addition to the team, and he's here tonight. Pretty excited to see how we go. Actually, Esopa might be the most talented player not yet on the wall. We've talked about that a few times. He's made the top 8 several times already. He's actually made the finals before, and hasn't yet closed the deal. This is his last chance to do so, and I'm sure he's got a lot of people in chat rooting for him because he is a fan favorite, a streamer, and a content creator.
Was the first competitor to start bringing Minor Goblin Barrel that got very popular in the Coronation days, and wasn't the one to end up winning with it, but was the first one to start utilizing it and have faith in it.
Charm your heart.
Charm me heart.
So let's take a look at the 2 decks here. We've got a giant furnace deck for Lemon. It also has that combination we've seen a few times with Skeleton Army and Graveyard.
Wow.
So you sort of have that swarm on defense, swarm on offense. You've got both of them, and if your opponent can only deal with it one at a time, you can really overwhelm them.
One thing that was really nice for Lemon is he didn't have to use the zap defensively against the graveyard of Esopa. Therefore, he got to use it on that Inferno Tower, get the reset, Giant pushes in, and a good chunk of damage.
If I'm Lemon, that's twice now that my Furnace and a Troop and the Tower have all been fireballed in that little lane.
Spread them out.
Start putting the archers in the top left corner, right? Get them far away so they walk on the far side of the tower instead, because this might happen again.
All right, well, let's see. Oh, they're there. They're there. And there it is.
Hey, fool me 3 or more times. Shame on me.
All right, 10 seconds. We're about to be going into overtime. And again, as a reminder, the first tower to go down in overtime will declare the victor.
That zap is
tower
so
could take it
key.
down.
The log is going to clear out the skeletons for just a little bit, but how much longer can this tower survive? Pretty good graveyard
great.
defense from Esopa.
That was a clutch log right there for sure.
The timing was just right.
Let's see if he can get a 4 in a row.
Here it is.
On that good fireball. Maybe not. Oh, he's going to fireball probably the archers back there behind the tower.
I would go for it. It's overtime.
Oh,
right.
that's the
Oh,
damage.
it's going
They're just a few more. Oh, the zap coming out defensively.
Oh!
Esopa.
Congratulations, Esopa, picking up the first game there of our final round of 8 before we move on to the semifinals. Again, he's got this new clan on his back. Yesterday, not allowed to pull it out. But today, maybe.
But Lemon needs to move on.
That's true.
Lemon versus
to
Mango.
see who. Well, I guess if Lemon falls here, we can actually already say what's better. Mango has made it further than Lemon.
When life
But
gives you
with
lemon,
Mango-
cast fireball.
Yes, there were
I can't
so
yet.
many.
I'm
So
working
many
on it.
fireballs.
Yeah. So again, Fireball. We're seeing it. Is it tonight more than Lightning so far?
It was
in the
yesterday,
semis,
wasn't it?
In the semis, we already have 4 fireballs and 4 decks.
Yep.
So if Esopa advances, he will add 2 more fireballs, making it 6 for 6 fireballs in the semis, if of course he wins the next game. Lemon, no fireballs.
Huh. So what is the, if the meta continues, right, and Fireball becomes so popular, what is the card that opponents are going to start playing that's going to make Fireball irrelevant?
You go right back to all that stuff that you weren't playing because lightning was killing them. Ice Wizard survives
yeah.
Fireball, really
Yeah,
good
we haven't
there.
seen him in so long.
Musketeer starting to come back because of that. We've actually already seen Musketeer start to become more popular because it doesn't die to a Fireball, right? A lot of stuff, right? Guards are already sort of seeing play because with the advancement of Log and Zap and all that, guards are tough to deal with and remove. There's a lot of options out there.
All right, well, here we go. Let's see if Esopa can 2-0 Lemon, or will Lemon come back and tie it up to try to face off against Mango?
Esopa is switched. His other deck is an Inferno Tower Minor Princess deck, kind of like the Zap bait decks that we've seen in the past, yet it actually forgoes all the Zap baity kind of stuff. There's no Goblin Barrel, there's no Skeleton Army. Instead, it's Guards, Princess, Mega Minion, sturdy, spell-resistant cards for the most part, and looking like he's just going to try to spell cycle and chip his way to victory.
Already to a great start, but only 5 elixir to defend this push, and I think that there's going to be a Zap to help. There it is.
Does this kill? Oh, the Ice Spirit does not kill the Mega Minion!
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Still a solid defense, 6 elixir. Just had the right cards in hand, and Esopa gets away with murder.
What?
He gets away with
Killing people out here.
murder.
He just got arrested.
See if a Minor comes up. I can see
Right.
a Minor being cast on the right tower to kill that Archer and then turn onto the tower, but might just let it go.
All right, what are you going to do, Princess? You're about to get logged. It's not going to be a good time.
Ooh, great turn.
Wow, look at yeah.
That Princess is a machine.
She's like, you're dead, I'm going next.
Oh, good fireball there. And that's why you see Minor almost always paired with a big spell. Whether it's lightning, poison, fireball, you always see a pretty high cost spell going along with Minor, because the Minor forces a reaction and then holds the thing in place. It's like the Minor keeps the troop right where you want it, so that it makes
Fireball,
it really easy
good.
for you to pull off your spell.
Again, a great defense there for Esopa, only taking a little bit of damage on that bottom right tower so far. He keeps this up, Lemon is going to be getting knocked out.
Minor Inferno controls an archetype that goes back, to the very early days of the Super Magical Cup, back even in Season 1, where people realized that Minor was sort of like a cheap reusable spell that if you played just all defense, every card in his deck is really strong on defense, you could just slowly but surely grind your opponent down, forcing damage on their tower while taking none on your own.
Here comes the counter push, and the Miner's going to tag on uncontested. How are you going to stop? Nice use of the guards, and that's what we're talking about. Spell resistant, and will definitely make their stay against this graveyard. 3 sources of attack as well, and they have the extra range as well.
Right.
Brother fights brother.
These
Those
ones
are ruthless
these
bone
ones are
brothers, I'll have
civilized.
you know.
That's what happens when technology hits and
Oh,
different civilizations have a difference in kind of
Right.
Just get rid of the weak.
It's an Iron Age thing right there. Yeah.
We're seeing Clash Royale just teaching history every single
Guards
day.
are back in cycle. He was able to use Fireball and Zap to get 2 cards out of hand, back to back to Guards just in time for the graveyard. But this time we're starting to swarm again. Oh no, only 8 seconds left, has to use the Zap. But look at this huge elixir advantage for Lemon. He was at 8 to his opponent's 2. Can Esopa close this game out before this elixir advantage catches up to him? I'm not so convinced anymore.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I definitely could see Lemon building a push behind it.
Long's gonna miss!
Oh, she walked into it!
Princess.
Oh, no!
Always look left, right, left.
That's right.
Gotta keep your head on a swivel in a fireball fight.
Yeah. So now Lemon actually playing the Giant really far back. He really wants to be have a huge push right now.
Now here we go. Get ready for the graveyard to come in. I think Esopa's ready. He's got his 3 elixir down.
Oh, he's going to fireball it. He's going for it, I think. He's trying to go for the
There goes
all-in.
the Zap.
Oh,
It's going to get
man.
close. Oh, the
Oh,
log was
man.
perfectly timed. Knew that he needed to do enough damage to
how
prevent
is-
that extra swing.
Fireball plus Zap is not gonna be enough.
Hold on. Zap, log. No, there's no
Oh, there's no
fireball.
fireball. There's no big spell.
We have to stop the miner. Wait, that miner's not in the right spot.
The Princess Splash is gonna carry Esopa into the semifinals. Lemon is no more. Congratulations. Moving on.
And let it be a lesson.
Woo.
Big spells are good in your
You
deck. What Rainey
need
said.
it.
Woo.
That's exactly what Rainey said. What do you need in your deck? Well, you need at least a big spell, some direct damage to force it through. And it's right. Every single deck in the semifinals so far has a fireball in it. And back just a few months ago, Poison was very popular, Rocket,
Direct
Lightning.
damage.
Almost every deck has some sort of serious direct damage spell, because if you don't have one, you reach this point of like, they're at 200 health. I could win this game. Zap, log, that's it. No!
I can't cycle fast enough.
No.
Cycle,
All right.
cycle.
Well, congratulations there. Now moving on. Our first replay is ready. Let's see how effective a graveyard can be.
Graveyard. I have very mixed feelings about this card, and I think that the players in the Coronation Day have definitely
helps with
succeeded.
those mixed feelings.
Yes, they've definitely succeeded. I mean, the question we were asking ourselves is, will this card actually be good? I remember saying, I know that this card is going to change the game. I don't know if it's actually going to be good or bad, but it's going to change it.
Right.
Well,
And
we've seen it expertly played, and we've also seen it fail miserably.
Yes.
And I
indeed.
guess, does it just depend on who's playing it?
Yeah, it's such an up and down card, right? It could be happy one moment, and then it sees that its flower has wilted, and it's just super upset.
Wow.
You know, somebody stepped on its garden.
Graveyard
and just,
getting deep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Flowers at the
philosophical.
graveyard.
That's real
Is this a
poetic.
metaphor? Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, in a lot of ways, when it first came out, people were unsure, is this too powerful or too weak? Because on paper, every single thing counters Graveyard. Any troop that attacks, any spell that hits anything,
Interesting.
will all counter Graveyard. Yet, if you don't have the right answer, you're not fast enough, or if you have a slow attacking unit or something like that, it will at
Or
least
you have
get
a
some
freeze.
damage through. And given how defensive the game is right now, if you can just guarantee to force even 400 damage, 500 damage through with any sort of regularity, that can be one of your prime win conditions. And we've seen it in a variety of decks. I mean, what doesn't go well with Graveyard so far from the Coronation days? Hog Rider, Knight, Ice Golem, Golem, Giant, even
Poorly
things like
Knight.
Royal Giant and Giant Skeleton on the ladder and stuff like that will still go well.
Interestingly enough, I think the only card we haven't seen Graveyard do well with is Miner.
No, yeah, it's a good point.
Interestingly enough, and that was kind of the first thing, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Graveyard Miner, yeah,
It was like,
totally.
boop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because the
Exactly.
miner doesn't tank for a long enough period of time.
The Miner has a shovel, you know, you could.
And it's also maybe because
Help
you're
the
opening yourself up to getting it all like logged or fireballed. We're seeing the giant in the golem graveyard decks. The tanks are in the middle, like they're getting pulled towards the center by tombstones and furnaces and inferno towers, and that's pulling the focus away from the back of the tower, which is when the graveyard hit and takes it over. If you drop a miner right on top of the tower and a graveyard on top of that, it's like, all right, sweet fireball. Or like
Yeah.
my archers that are here killing the graveyard just immediately turn to the miner right after. Like there's
True.
All right, well, guys, now we have our 4 semifinals. Let's go ahead and pull up the bracket here. Moving on, we have Mao versus Tin 2 on top. So both going, having to go into that critical game 3. Then on the bottom, we have Mango and Esopa, both 2-0ing their opponents. So it'll be really interesting to see when we come back to break how these two pair up on both the top and the bottom of the bracket. Rumham, Rainey, so far, who's sticking out to you as kind of, oh, he's going to take it? Or she, or it, or they. Maybe a tie.
we've seen pandas win. We've seen I mean, it's got to be. My first pick would be Tin 2 or Esopa. I think those are the two favorites. Tin 2 has been here before and actually made it pretty deep into the tournament before. Also a member of Reddit Alpha, so just the pedigree. It's sort of like, I don't need to know how good of a lawyer you are. You went to Harvard Law? Oh, I trust you're a good lawyer,
That's
right?
a great analogy.
Reddit Alpha is the
a
Harvard
great
of
comparison.
these players. There's 7 already on the board.
Yeah.
And he could be the
Wow.
8th one, putting it to exactly
Wait,
half
exactly
from the
half.
same clan.
That's true.
And Esopa's been to the finals before, has made multiple top 8s, very skilled and educational player and educational streamer. So I think those are the two favorites, but of course, we've also had tons of upsets.
Yeah? All right, Rainey? Who's going to be?
I want to be able to have that statistic of Reddit Alpha carries half the spots in the arena
It
battles.
does sound cool.
It does sound
Yeah, nobody
cool.
likes 7 out of 16. What a lame fraction.
Yeah, how dare they?
Yeah,
One
it
on.
doesn't even
reduce
divide
that.
out.
Yeah.
So Tin 2 as well.
It's a prime number.
numbers,
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know, guys, in chat who you think is going to take it when we come back from break. But before a quick, we kind of teased this at the beginning of the show. We have a special video for you guys here during the break. Basically, this thing is it's
It's a documentary.
Clash-A-Rama. It's a documentary.
A historical documentary about
Quick,
dates.
yeah, quick
on towers.
kind of summary of it. Some of the writers from The Simpsons, who are also longtime Clash universe fans, decided to come together and create a fun short series that kind of shows maybe what these kind of characters get into when they're not being played against. And so we're going to be having it. It's going to launch early December. It's going to be on. It's going to be free. It's going to be free.
Free for viewing.
If you have access to the internet, and you can go to YouTube, Google Play, or Facebook. So it's going to be free in any of those places.
2 eyeballs is all you need.
That's all you need. 2 eyeballs.
And an internet connection.
Yeah, those are going to be it.
But
So
if we're talking to you right now, you probably have that.
yeah. So you're watching this, you're already good. So sit back, enjoy this, and when we come back to break, our semifinals are going to be happening.
All right, which one of these guys stole your hog? Number 4? Yeah, definitely number 4. That's a definitive ID. Matches a sketch we got from a witness, too. Take him away. Yeah. So, turns out my hog wasn't stolen. I just forgot where I parked it. No hard feelings? These are the rules of the duel. All duels must have appropriately epic music.
Clash! Royale! Bigger fights with everyone! Clash! Royale! It's got lightning and skeletons! Duel players in real time! Destroy towers in real time!
While your troops take a stand, now you've got the upper hand. Destroy the king and win the ground and Clash!
Royale!
That was a rule of the duel, a most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. Anything goes in the arena, and anything goes inside the goblin hut. Anything. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. The grass in the arena must be properly cut. It's a full-time job. That was the rule of the duel. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. The winner takes the loser's trophies. And their dignity. That was a rule of the duel. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale.
Good evening, Clashers and Clashettes, and welcome back to the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Open. There it is. Before the break, we asked you guys to submit haikus, and you submitted so many. Servers everywhere were down for a few minutes. English teachers were jealous the world around that they don't get that many haikus sent to them, and we have some fantastic ones. So let's go over to Ella in the haiku corner and check them out.
It's the last haiku corner, you guys.
I'll be
okay. I'll be okay. So I have 2 haikus for you tonight. One from Toracane. It goes, "It's the final day. We'd love to stay one more day, but now we must go."
Oh no!
Toracane.
I'm tearing up right here. And then the next one is from my dad.
Nice.
Papa Ella.
"Last games have begun. Coronation will be done. We've all had great fun."
We have. Wow, great.
Okay.
Great
don't
haiku.
have to rhyme, but it's
Cut
better
away. I can't.
You get extra points. Thank you guys so much, all at home, for participating in this. We have all of them. We see them during the break. We do enjoy them. So thank you for taking the time.
You can get the coffee table book next year.
We're gonna put them on.
A great gift for the holidays.
It's gonna be good. Grandmas are gonna love it. Let's pull the brackets now, as we do have our 4 semifinalists of the final coronation night here at the Clash Royale North American Open. Up first, top of the bracket, Mao versus Tin2, and finally, Mango versus Esopa. So, we have 2 returners and 2 new players. All right.
Actually,
Wait, no,
Mango is a
Mango's
returner.
Mango's been
Mango's
here
been
before.
here. 3 returners,
Yeah.
1 new player. So, kind of before we take a look at our first matchup in the decks, who are some of the people? Because remember, you kind of said this a lot. You're saying there's so many people who, they're the top players right now, but they just didn't quite make it here. Who's like the one person that if you could give a ticket to, if you could give someone a pass,
With the magical golden ticket.
who would it be?
You've got a golden ticket.
She's just singing in his face.
I guess besides myself, right?
Of course, you give it to you.
You know, historically, Woody has been one of the strongest players, and he's been really busy with a lot of his clan stuff. He's made 2 top 8s, did pretty all right with it, but couldn't quite break through. I think he's definitely someone I'd look at. In terms of players who made tons of top 8s, but maybe didn't quite make it, what do you think, Rainey? Is there anyone jumping to mind?
Ash jumps out to mind.
Well, Ash actually did get an invite because from an earlier coronation day, somebody wasn't able to make it. So Ash actually is going to be able to go. Good for him.
Good for you, Ash.
That's kind of what's been hard for me, because from the Super Magical Cup, we have a different pool of players that we're used to having around, and there's some great players in that bracket of competitors that it's really actually hard for me to tell, like, oh, I wish that guy was in, but
Sure.
Yeah, there's so many good players who are ineligible for various reasons, either not quite 18 or often are in Europe, Asia, etc. And
we're coming to you guys soon.
Yeah, I can't wait to see something like a European Open, an Asia Pacific Open, things like that, to find the best players from each region, and eventually we can bump them all together. Yeah, right.
All right, well, right now we have our 2 players up first in the semifinals. Let's take a look at their decks here, as we are now going to have a 2 head-to-head. Both of these contestants, Mao and Tin2, did move on from a 2-1 victory.
Did he really have an Inferno Dragon in his deck? If that's the case, I'm going all for Mao.
All for Mao.
Did he? No.
Inferno
Really?
Dragon.
No, I think okay. So actually, we're getting word now. Those are actually Mao actually advanced because another player was disqualified. I think that was the disqualified players.
That makes
decks
sense.
because we made the graphics before the show started. That's okay, but.
The Hog Freeze made it through.
The Hog Freeze did make it through, actually. So we're taking a look at Tin2's deck here. Tin2 has the Expo Inferno Tower deck, and then also that Barbarian Hut Spell Cycle deck. Take a look at this one over here, because that is an oddball little deck there. I've been trying it on the ladder, and I am awful with it. Oh man, I cannot play. I'm too aggressive a player to ever play something as defensive as like a grindy spell cycle.
Well, you said that this also thrives in like a minute and a half in overtime. When you're on the ladder, you only have 60 seconds of overtime. Does that affect it much?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the sort of deck that's going to draw more often than not on the ladder. But in tournaments, it's very, very good. And actually, the minor Inferno control decks that we've seen a couple of here, like we've got Mango's got a version like that. Those decks didn't exist at all on the ladder. Like they exist more on the ladder now, but initially when we first started seeing them in the Super Magical Cup, that was solely a tournament deck. You'd never try to play something like that on the ladders because you need not just the extra 2 minutes, but it's 2 minutes of double elixir time. 2 minutes of double elixir time is the same as all 3 minutes of regulation because you get 2 minutes of 1x and then 1 minute of double elixir. So 2 minutes of double elixir is like adding a whole nother game.
It seriously is.
Yeah.
And coming home from these, where we're just sitting in double elixir for so long, I get into bed and I start playing Clash Royale, and then I'm like, wait, what? The game is
It's already over.
It's
What?
over. Right?
Like that's not right.
This is bite-sized entertainment.
Wait a second. All right, guys, here we are into the semifinals. Mao versus Tin2. Let us know who you think is going to move on to the finals of the final Coronation night.
That's going to be a great defense. Ice Spirit plus Mega Minion. The Hoggers still gets a swing, and that is that. 0.5 seconds shaved off the freeze.
Yeah, you're right. Ice Spirit recently took a nerf to it, which is, oh no, the Expo's locked on. Even if it's a little slower, it's still getting some damage in there. And 20% of the max damage taken. Look at that, right off the bat, they're at nearly identical tower health.
And these two archers are too low health to do anything of importance, and so they will be about even. 1944. What a year.
What do you think is going to happen in 2041, though?
2041.
Yeah.
2041. I will
Driverless
be.
Cars.
Yes.
Will be
It's
old.
going to be a simpler time.
A simpler time.
Post-nuclear fallout.
Back to cans.
Listen, son.
Our world is literally Clash Royale.
I can't wait actually until the world ends because then I can just lie to my kids. I don't have to like tell them anything complicated about the world.
Yeah.
I can just be like, look, we're cricket farmers, son. And my dad was a cricket farmer.
presuming
His daddy
that
was a
you
cricket
live.
farmer. He wouldn't know. There's no
We're
internet.
cricket farmers.
We're cricket farmer
We're just
people
going
now.
back here.
So here's the thing. Of the 8 decks in the semifinals, 7 have Fireball. The only one that doesn't is Mao's other deck that runs Freeze, the Hog Freeze deck instead of the Hog Fireball.
Interesting.
Ooh, great. Oh, no, the Ice Golem comes down just in time.
Wow, that Ice Golem was actually spaced far enough away that the Expo did not get frozen when the Ice Spirit jumped.
And that's exactly what you want, right? If it all gets frozen together, you're in big trouble.
Yep. Even trade.
Yeah,
No damage.
exactly. It's just total neutral. In Spell Valley, look at this.
Spell Valley. I feel like this is an arena we don't see too often. And
Pretty.
it's such a striking
It's my
arena.
favorite
purple.
arena.
Purple.
My favorite
Yeah.
arena.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your favorite arena? So you said Spell Valley.
Spell Valley, my favorite. Yep.
I'm tempted to say Trading Camp.
I don't know many.
Builder's Workshop.
Okay. Do you want to trade? I'll take your account. You take my account. You can be in Builder's Workshop.
I'll be in Legendary by the end of the week. No, I'm just kidding. I'm terrible. And I actually did play a second account all the way up to Legendary, but it took several months. It was not nearly as easy. When I very, very first started at the very start of the game, there was no Legendary Arena. It was just Arena 6.
Oh, really?
And Arena 6 wasn't Builder's Workshop, it was Royal Arena. That was it.
So much has gone wrong with the launch.
Wow, what was that zap for? That was just.
I think he was, I'm not exactly sure. I think he was trying to get rid of those. I think he didn't want to lose his minions to the Mega Minion.
Oh!
Great Fireball.
Man, Tin 2 is really great at taking moments of opportunity. Doesn't let a single opportunity slip by. This Ice Spirit will turn around, jump, and take down the Hog Rider.
Huge difference there because that Ice Spirit came in to grab the other Ice Spirit. If that Ice Spirit had locked onto the Inferno Tower, it would have frozen it and allowed the Hog Rider to finish it off. Instead, Tin 2 has an Inferno Tower to help defend his freshly set up Expo. And if this locks onto the tower, this could be the end of the game. They're both players are running redlining, just playing their cards as soon as they have the elixir to do so. Because
Oh!
The Expo is going, it's going, and I think the opportunity to end the match is here for Tin. And that was actually, he's been so disciplined about placing the ice. Oh my god, that death damage was actually way more than I thought it would be.
Oh, there it is. The log coming out, and that is going to be Tin2 picking up his first game here in the semifinals against Mao. One step closer to the finals, one step closer. Look at all those pictures on the wall. 15 champions already moving on to the arena battles. Tonight we'll decide who the final will be.
Tin 2 being a spell cycle player, obviously from his other deck, and also playing Siege, something that I think is really admirable and something that spell cyclers will need to understand very well is how much elixir can you actually spend on shooting a tower with your spells, but still have enough to defend. And sometimes it's not about even trades, right? You're willing to shoot down a 3 elixir card with a 4 elixir spell, or a 5 elixir card with a 6 elixir spell, or even 4 to 6, right? Yeah. You know that you're going to take these disadvantages. I think Tin 2, especially in the last game in those closing moments, he spent his elixir very well by measuring out when he wanted to spell his opponent's tower, when he was okay with just nuking it, and that's something that is not the easy. It sounds easy on paper, but it's not the easiest to get used to.
And it shows also how we've seen Inferno Tower be the deciding factor in so many games, not just tonight, but throughout the entire Clash Royale North American Open. And it's one of those things where if you have a deck, whether it's Hog Rider, Giant, Golem, that is weak to Inferno Tower, you better have 2 or more answers to that card because you can't get away with just like, oh, I guess I'll just zap it.
Yeah,
no, you won't because
I get
there's gonna
destroyed by Inferno Tower.
They can always play something like Archers or something else to help support it, and it has so many hit points, it's not just going to fall over right away as soon as you zap it.
Remember, you said you were running the spell cycle deck that Tin 2 is now going to be going to next. What spell? Do you ever want to use a spell on defense? Or
Oh yeah, I mean you'll see Tin 2 use it a lot. Fireballing, for example, things at the river. Like if there's a big push at the river. There's a natural tension in Clash Royale. If you play things at the river, you threaten quickly, but you don't have you only have so much elixir, and with the defensive towers, you're not necessarily going to have these big, scary, overwhelming pushes. However, if you want those big, scary, overwhelming pushes in order to get through a defensive deck, you've got to play it behind the King Tower. They walk by the Crown Tower, and then you get spell, right? So your option is either to try to play at the river and get stifled by, I don't know, an Inferno Tower, or try to build up, but then you
rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
What? Now, what arena is this?
This is the training camp.
This is it?
Yep.
I think this is Barbarian Bowl.
Is that? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right because there's the swords. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, the swords. I was looking at the fountain on the side, the keg.
Yes.
Yeah.
The training camp has a bunch of other stuff lying around on the side.
The training camp is like a grass field, and Arena 1 is a little. It's also grassy, but it's a little different. Training camp looks super bare bones.
I guess Spell Valley might be my favorite. I like the purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purple.
I don't know what I'm
like it
missing
too.
though, you guys. Like there's so much ahead of me that I just haven't seen yet.
You just haven't
The
experienced
mythical
yet.
barbarian statues in the legendary arena hanging out in the clouds.
So good.
So the ice cubes running down the river of Frozen Peak.
Just reminiscing of all the adventures
Over yonder.
that await you.
And there'll probably be more arenas in the future. That'll always be fun when this come out.
Oh, great.
Space Arena. Excited for that one.
Oh, buddy.
All right, Tin 2. Again, one more game
Everything
away.
just floats around.
And he is
There
going to
you
go
go.
on to the finals.
So you totally use spells on defense. Of course, that wasn't the spell cycle deck, so... but
Oops.
let's see, so what else we got here? So already, Tin 2, though, is not in the situation he wants to be in. He hasn't been able to really maintain a Barbarian Hut for significant periods of time. He's got a much more damage on his top left tower than he's inflicted already on Mao's tower. And you see that Mao is pretty much trying... Oh! The Mirror Barb Hut!
Wow.
Oh, that's what the mirror is good for.
Very flexible
Wow,
card.
I did not expect to see that.
Level 10 Barbarians.
That's going to be tough to remove.
That's 15 consecutive elixir. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
that's a lot. Oh, and then yet it eats a fireball. But then again, think about this. His opponent has already spent 9 elixir and hasn't really stopped anything, right? Like, you're playing all that stuff to try to hold off the barbarians, and you've got to spend even more and more troops to kind of keep it away.
The thing that is disgusting is Mao, or rather Tin 2, definitely has another Barbarian Hut in hand by now.
Good point, because he's played a couple
Play
now he
it.
definitely does.
Yeah, I want to see just huts everywhere. Everywhere.
Just the field littered.
Bring back Goblin
Yeah.
Hut.
He's just going for that damage there on the right side. A well played coming out there from Mao.
Oh, the hut is about to dissipate.
There
Yeah,
it
needs
is.
to play the hut close.
Oh, what a great fireball. You're hitting the tower, a bunch of barbarians, and the hut itself. Hard to calculate exactly how much elixir just got smashed by that fireball, but it's a good amount.
Ooh, all right,
Just like that
981
one.
bottom right, 1020.
It's a race.
Yeah,
They
they're
are
going for
already
it.
in the race.
I mean, there's nothing really special about Mao's deck once you get in double elixir time. It's not like a golem deck or something like that where suddenly you've
Right.
got this amazing new
just
thing you
quicker.
pull off. It can just do its cycles a little faster.
Right.
But Tin 2's deck is actually able to cast these spells offensively to chip the towers down and then recover that elixir quick enough to defend.
Now every time.
Slowly but surely, Tin 2 is actually catching up. And remember, he only needs to have about 500 or 600 health before he can double lightning it down.
Wow.
Oh, you're right. Actually, I think he can do it. Oh no, it's a little short. He could log lightning.
Well, Zap already from
Yes,
Mao.
this game,
He
here it
might be doing
comes.
it.
There
No,
it
he's got to
comes.
play something else.
Yeah, he has to play just a
lightning on
little
defense,
bit
he
more
lightning
damage.
against the Hog Rider.
Yes, yes. But
Oh, what are you
no,
going to do with this one?
Oh,
Look at this
that's
push.
close.
Oh, that fireball's not actually going for that big
No, he's
army that's
missing
coming down.
completely.
I think he's very willing to let that left side tower just take damage because he knows that
won't
he's going to lose on the
die.
right side.
Or will
There
it
it is,
not?
a good game. He is going down on the left side. He tried to calculate it. It's still too much, and Tin 2 is going to 2-0 Mao, moving on to the finals, our first finalist of the
Whoa.
final Coronation night.
He
Whoa.
just did not have a choice by that point because basically in the same moment he would have lost his right side tower.
Yeah.
So even it was definitely a losing choice to try to defend that push because that would have taken too much time. He just needed to go.
Yeah.
That was super impressive.
Right down to it.
The health left on that top left tower, by the way, if he had just fireballed right from the beginning of the game, maybe he would have taken it.
Yeah.
So at night, he's just gonna be.
That's actually how Tin 2's deck sometimes opens. When you open the deck, you hit 10. There's
another
really
fireball.
You just fireball the tower or log the tower just to force your opponent to play something and start that damage race on your opponent.
Crazy.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our first replay of the Expo.
Expo has been doing so well for Tin 2, and I think that being really disciplined about placing the ice column in front and then responding to what Mao played really earned Tin 2 a lot of damage, a lot of opening, and stills that.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Expo repeatedly getting slowed down, but still punching through tons of damage.
Oh no. And the Hog Rider slips by. That was a really key Hog Rider there because 4 elixir was spent and no damage was dealt as the archers were able to shoot it out of the sky. And then, of course, that's a perfect thing to fireball. That big death army.
That'll be gone completely.
What happened?
But he may have just known, like, if I do that, I'm just going to be slowing down too much. Either way, congratulations to Tin 2. Moving on. Now, the question of the night really is who's going to join him? Is it going to be a Mango or is it going to be Esopa? So 2 returning members. I think Esopa's been here more than Mango, correct?
I believe this is Mango's 3rd appearance, and I think this is Esopa's 4th appearance.
All right, well, let's pull up the bracket now as we have one of our finalists in. Take a look at who will be joining. And so far, so now Tin 2 joining that 2-0 club of the night. Again, Mango and Esopa both 2-0 their opponents, a brown bag and lemon, to get here. So we'll see kind of if they can continue that as well into the finals.
Let's take a look at the decks if we can pull those up anytime soon because there's some really, they're 4 very distinctly different decks. Okay. Some kind of shout out cards. Again, all 4 have Fireball. We kind of mentioned this already. But Esopa's first deck is a minor control with Fireball that he's going to use to try to cycle down the enemy troops. But if you look at the equivalent version in Mango's side, it's got much bigger troops. It's got Bowler. It's packing still the guards, but just I think the Log and Bowler give it a lot more effect against ground troops. The second deck's though where things get really different. Mango with the Barbarian Hut 3 Musketeer deck, and Esopa with Graveyard. Huh. We've seen Graveyard. We saw Graveyard do great here in the final yesterday. And let's see if a Graveyard deck can make it to the finals this time as well.
All right. How do we think 3 Musketeers is going to fare?
I think it's going to be tough because Fireball is everywhere. And definitely it's going to be either Log or Zap to accompany it. So I think that's going to be tough. And also the 3 Musketeer deck is played within the context of the Barbarian Hut. And I think that deck, it would depend. It definitely already has a losing matchup because Esopa has the Bowler in one of his decks. So that's going to be a rough one to get by. Both 3 Musketeers and Barbarian Hut suffers a lot against the Bowler.
Well, how else can you protect them besides splitting them?
You just have to split them, and then you have to outline of play your opponent, right? You have to make them play the Bowler in a situation and set it.
The catch might be something along the lines of, they Graveyard, you play Archers to defend the Graveyard, they Fireball the Archers, and then you've got an opening to play your 3 Musketeers.
If that all happens.
Right. Well, here we are, second match of the semifinals. Mango versus Esopa. Let us know in chat who you think is going to make it to the last finals of the Clash Royale North American Open.
Mastery GG. Esopa's got that clan on his shoulders right now.
So it's interesting. Mango right now is running his Bowler deck, and Esopa is running his Miner deck, so it's not going to be the one with the Barbarian Hut.
That opening exchange could not have gone any better for Esopa. Already got the bottom right tower down to half health. Mostly from a combination of pretty normal stuff. Miner, Mega Minion, Ice Spirit. But Mango had already committed 5 elixir to the left lane and just only had Archers really to help defend with, and it just wasn't fast enough.
Talking about kind of what happens, like you said, we're in the last matchup when you're kind of about to hit 10 elixir, nothing's happened yet, some good starting things to do. I know one of the things you talked about, Rumham, that I've been doing now is if you have Archers, splitting Archers is a good way to just kind of start out, that way you can be a little more flexible. What are other good kind of things that you can do when you're about to hit 10, you don't want to be wasteful?
Slow-moving average cost units. So 3 elixir units are really key. Archers are kind of slow-moving and they're 3 elixir. Mega Minion is another great one because it flies really slowly. And really what you're doing is trying to get the more advantageous drop against your opponent. So you kind of want to get him to play and commit and try to throw a push at you, and then you outplay his line of play with good use of your cards.
We mentioned earlier that Esopa has a pretty large fan base. I don't know if he's streaming right now or not, but he definitely has a lot of fans. 19 spectators watching him. People are throwing confetti all over his side of the board to let him know that they're here with him and they're backing him up and they want to see him go to the arena battles.
21
people. It's continued to go up, and now Mango's side of the field as well. Blue confetti dropping in. A lot of people supporting these two players here in the semifinals. Either way, one of these is going to move on, and they're going to have the support of the community behind them.
Confetti everywhere.
Oh, the bowler key attack on the princess. Log was already spent from Mango on the right side tower, and so he had no way of eliminating that princess.
Oh, wow.
Consider that knockback, though, being very effective. He bought his miner a few extra swings, because even though it didn't kill the guards, it did push them away from the miner. But look at this, though. We might be going into overtime as with 26 spectators are watching. 20 seconds left in the match. It looks like both towers might be going down.
Oh!
This is it. Back and forth miners, literally one after the other. Fireball coming in here.
29
10 seconds.
He needs to go
He wants to take it back.
He needs to go now. The princess wants to shoot the tower, but is going to have to shoot the Mega Minion.
4, 3,
Fireball's got to go. Oh, the zap just in time.
26 spectators are throwing confetti all over the arena. They want to see who's going to win this.
This is the most that we have seen so far here in the semifinals. 29. We're about to hit 30 people watching just in the app, watching the game here in the clan.
And of course, they are watching it through the Facebook Connected Friend feature. A lot of people have Clash Royale Facebook, so they just use their real Facebook, and people add them as friends and are watching live on their own app at home.
Live.
Oh.
Is this going to start again?
Oh my gosh, I
Why
can't.
not?
My heart can't handle this.
All right, so far now going into overtime, Esopa does have more HP there on that top right tower. Let's see if he can continue these trades as it's been going on. He will take this.
The princess is really throwing a wrench in Mango's systems because he loses the ability to spell cycle log on the right side tower because he has to log the princess. See, now he's going to let the princess run free, and the princess is already gaining value, contributing on the right side push, now contributing on the left side push. And if you ever let that princess hit the tower, you're just getting further and further behind in the race.
The Inferno Tower has been really strong as well because it prevents you going in.
Perfect positioning on the bowler.
With your minor sort of guard attacky pushes don't really work when there's a tower there. The bowler, while good on defense, hasn't been nearly as effective on offense.
Yeah, and just like that, we said how Esopa had kind of that tower lead. It's now gotten really close. Mango's done a great job catching up.
Think of every single miner played as you committing a turn. And if you do not get value for the turn that you take, you fall farther and farther behind. So 824, in X number of turns, Esopa is definitely going to win because he's ahead in tower health. But if Mango plays a good miner and can defend...
Princess might get a shot. Double Princess! Look at this!
Ooh, Bowler is in a key position.
Aced that second one, giving him a little bit of a lead. Oh, the miner went to go fight the guards!
Still, having to play catch-up, the fact that Mango is behind in tower health is really hurting him right now, and the bowler keeps being used on defense, so it actually can't contribute to the push. One bowler roll... Yes, the Ice Spear has been very key. One boulder can change the pace of this match entirely.
Oh,
but
he hit him closer!
Here comes a fireball.
Oh, and it's now within range of a fireball and a zap. A fireball and a zap does have enough to do it, so if he can cycle back one more time, he just got to prevent. Now, here's you see Mango going all in with the guards and the Mega Minion and the miner. The log, he's trying to push with everything he has right now.
He needs to play his spells now, but he's trying to play defense. He played the guards, and he's, I think,
there
stabilized.
It is. There's the fireball. And here comes the zap. Esopa knowing exactly how much he needs to take it, and that is going to be the first game going over to him.
That was game one?
That was game number one. I would expect nothing less from people who have 2-0'd each other all the way to this point.
My nails are gone.
They're gone.
My heart is pumping. Hopefully you guys at home are as excited about this as we are right now. If you're watching this on Facebook, as we know, a lot of people are watching that match on Facebook, go ahead and hit that share button. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe.
It's too exciting
and finally,
not to.
watching on Twitch, hit that follow. We really appreciate it. These are the top matches right now in Clash Royale. Woo. Okay, one thing there at the end, we saw the bowler actually knock the miner into the tower so that he would get aggro onto that tower. Do you think that was a huge turning point? Is that a thing that just guaranteed the win for Esopa, or was Mango kind of losing up to that point anyway?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, I think that, yeah, if the bowler was in a situation where he could knock the miner off the tower, maybe, but there's not really a lot of ways to do that, because even if the bowler was in, the miner was off to the side a little bit, gets knocked off, he would just immediately go back to hitting it either way. I think the problem there was that Mango was focused so much on trying to go offensive that he lacked the guards in hand, the archers in hand, what have you, to actually kill the miner very quickly and distract it at the same time.
I was gonna say he played first almost very consistently before double elixir, and do you think that hurt him a lot?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what Esopa was doing, but whatever it was effective. Remember, he was the last person to take a tower into
overtime.
Time,
right?
But then starting. Even at the very beginning of double elixir time, took a big hit point lead and was able to really maintain it over time.
All right, go ahead and watch that top right. People viewing just this match alone on the app or in Facebook here. Esopa, one more game away from moving on to the finals. Let's see if Mango can come back and tie it up.
And it looks like, okay, so their second decks. Esopa is playing a graveyard control deck that we've seen quite a bit of. Inferno Tower, Graveyard, Inferno Tower for defense, Graveyard for offense. Going to use Bowler and Knight as the main sources of tanking to get that Graveyard pulled off. And on the other hand, Mango is keeping with the same deck that he played in the last game, which is actually almost a really similar deck, just with guards instead of Graveyard.
All right, who do you think has the, just from deck to deck face-off, who has a slight advantage?
Oh, Mango, I think, right now, because look how good those guards are against the Graveyard.
Guards are doing really well, but I think he's going to need to spend a single other card. No, just taking a little bit of chip damage. That was
just how good it is. I mean, if your opponent spends 3 and you spend 5, he basically just spent 2 elixir to deal 400 damage. I take that.
Great night.
Yeah, that night is awesome.
I kind of wish the confetti didn't go away and it just kept piling up on the sides of the arenas.
Just couldn't see cards anymore.
I think there was a Brazilian stream with Alvaro, one of the streamers of the King's Cup, who tried to, I think, get 10,000 live spectators, and they did, and they were all throwing, maybe it was 100,000. It was like, they were trying to break it, and they didn't break.
That's
Props
amazing.
to Supercell's engineering team. It did not break.
Done.
They had something, an absurd number of live viewers. The confetti was just
spamming
mad.
confetti.
Yeah, it was...
Needs to play the archers as well to make sure the graveyard doesn't do damage, but the Mega Minion has been swinging on the tower, and that's going to give most of the damage to Esopa. So far, I haven't seen Mango put together a convincing offense. It's just been the miner chip, and this time he actually gets it. And the other tower's not shooting at the miner either.
One of the downsides, though, for Esopa is he split his damage up a lot. He's got 400 damage already on the left side, and looks like he's going to go for more with that bowler, and almost 1,000 damage down on the right side. But again, his tower is the one that's actually the most fragile at this point.
Sure.
Here comes a big graveyard drop, and where are the units to defend? It's
Guards
going to be
are at the
Log
river.
plus Archer. And I think that might be enough, but the Fireball comes in and removes them, and now just a few extra skeletons, but still not the worst that could happen when a graveyard gets dropped on your tower.
Much more effective push by Mango there with the Fireball miner. You notice the Fireball came down so late on the archers that even though the graveyard was still spawning skeletons, it didn't have enough time left to really swarm it like you would want to.
Wow, just a graveyard being dropped there, and I think that might be a lot of elixir committed to getting nothing
Missed the
achieved.
archers. I think that might have been a desperation play there by Esopa, but he is behind significantly in elixir now. Great night, though, to intercept.
I almost wonder, I think Mango should have saved 3 elixir and just not played the archer. Give Esopa a little win on a push that he best up, because you basically can get away with defending that graveyard for just 3 elixir, right? Gain 2 on the profit, and then use that elixir to push back on your opponent's tower on the right side.
Guards are played back there. Does he have another Fireball ready? Does not. It's a little too late. He's going to Fireball, but again, there's only a couple skeletons left. But actually, they're doing okay.
Yeah.
We got a few swings. Bowler is having a free run on the left side tower, and at this point, I think Esopa really needs to spend that health to buy his way back into the game.
I mean, so much damage has been done to all the towers, and if you look on the left side, pretty even. On the right side now, pretty even.
Ooh, the miner gets
Now watch this. Yeah, the miner get rolled there between it, but if the Inferno Tower didn't exist, the Bowler isn't a great miner interceptor because it's always going to knock the miner into a tower in one way or another. It's not like the miner's ever going to stick to the Bowler.
Gotcha.
Mega Minion trades out. And now Graveyard is being dropped, but
got
does he have
Fireball
the
ready to go.
elixir?
He's got to do it right now. Waiting for the guards to come out. Let's see if he can get all the guards and the archers. He does.
There's a log to eliminate the guards, and that's
Ooh,
a
nice. Stay
really
alive.
expensive investment. I mean, Mango should be heavy in the elixir advantage right now, and I'm kind of surprised that he's not, because that was a graveyard, a fireball, a log, right?
Oh, but a fireball.
the Fireball's
Fireball,
going to
and that's it. Oh, just
There
like
it is.
that, Mango is going to tie it up here into the semifinals 1-1. We are going into a critical game 3. Woo! All right.
What was Esopa's main mistake, do you think, in that game?
I mean, I don't know if I would call it a mistake, but just the flow of both players was splitting their damage up across the towers. You're always
Right.
trying to go where your opponent is not to try to get that free, high-value damage.
Yeah.
All 4 towers were just shredded, right? and the game could have ended in any of the 4 corners. It just happened to end in the top right one. That just shows how your strategy changes when you get into overtime. You may not want to, like, you both have to defend all in against the graveyard because you can't afford to take any more damage. But then when you think that the victory is within reach,
Nope.
throw everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't hold back at all, because if you can take that tower, you win the game. I think Esopa could have knocked that tower down on the very next push he had.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
didn't have time.
yeah, the last one, I think he did the 400 or 500 damage to it easily, and I
Yeah.
think it was definitely in that range.
Yeah.
Rainey, one thing, you like Goblin Barrel and the mine games that go along with it. Well, we saw a miner there. One thing I liked from Mango is, at first, he put the miner right in the front, and Esopa beautifully put a knight right in front of it as well. Blocked it up, he started tanking the damage instead of the tower. The next time, Mango threw the miner in the back left, Esopa put the miner or the knight in the front. All of a sudden now, now the miner's getting some damage. How hard is it to predict where that miner's going to go when you see it coming across the river?
It's pretty difficult. It's a little better than it was before. Now, actually, based on your connection speed, you can actually react to where the miner pops up because he has a little longer deploy time. But before, it was actually very tough. It was almost always a guess. It's still very difficult right now, but if you're quick enough, you can actually fairly consistently defend the miner.
All right.
But you would like to use things like guards or something like skeleton army, even, where they cover lots of space. The other way to do it is to use an ice spirit, because it will always freeze the miner, and then the miner will retarget off your tower to the next unit you play to defend.
Esopa off to a great start here. Barbarian Hut we've seen so much of in the last few weeks, and if there's any card that gives it a hard time, Bowler might be it. Knocking into the Barbarian Hut and knocking the Barbarians back a little bit. The fireball comes in. Did it kill archers? Yes, it did. And now the graveyard swarms for a couple hundred damage.
Bowler's got a lot of hit the tower. He's hitting the tower with these. The next one too? No.
Oh, the angle was
But he's
just
still
a little
shooting.
off.
One more. Oh, look at that.
Wow, and just in time, I think another bowler. He probably has bowler back in hand now if he really wanted to, but I imagine Esopa's going to wait for the next Barbarian Hut to be played to match it. Although it could be really good here against these double musketeers coming along the left side.
I think that's definitely what Esopa wants to do, is use the bowler on the double musketeers, because he wants to save the fireball to assist his graveyard.
Downside is that by playing him that early, notice how they're both just wrecking.
Oh, the
yeah,
hog
they
rider's
both
gonna
go.
take. Oh, one last roll.
All right, 2 shots here on the hog, maybe 3.
Wow,
Yeah.
3
That's
shots.
some value.
And think about that, he did so much work on the right side to get the tower down to 1530, and a single hog rider nearly ties it back
And
up.
now they're even elixir as well.
Yeah, and Mango's deck is the slower, grindier one. It's the one he really wants to go into double elixir time with. I don't know if you could say the same for Esopa's deck.
Okay.
So being able to keep the health even remotely even in single elixir time, it's got to be a win for Mango. Maybe
Might
not
be
win
a
for the whole
3
game, but
musketeer
a
drop
minute
here.
win.
I think Mango's looking for an opportunity to drop 3 musketeer, and there it is. He's going to put it down the same lane as the bowler, but he also doesn't want the 2 musketeers to get fireballed on the weaker end of the tower.
Yeah, I think
Now,
you just fireball log here and just save your graveyard plan for another time.
So that musketeer on the right side is now being
wow.
assisted by the hog ice golem push, and this is the strength of 3 musketeers. There's still 1 musketeer left alive on that left side as well, and I think the barbarian didn't quite get to squeeze through. The single musketeer gets taken down by
3
the
hits
knight.
again.
Ooh.
4?
Wow.
Oh.
This is the strength of 3 musketeers, and the fact that the barbarian hut is down as well means, timing pending, there could be barbarians taking for the 2 musketeers that are going down the left.
So now if you're Esopa right now, Roman, what are you thinking? What's your brain doing?
I mean, you gotta fireball log those musketeers. It's 6 elixir for a 6 elixir trade, and you're getting damage on the tower. Maybe consider switching lanes, because if your opponent's gonna go down that lane, why not, right? Like, you're gaining a lot of advantage with these bowlers countering the 3 musketeers and the barbarian. Great play by Mango putting the ice golem though to distract the bowler, because the bowler is the card in your deck, the nemesis that is giving you trouble.
Ooh, I don't know about playing the hog rider on the left side. I think it would have much better been suited on the right. And now an Inferno Tower is in place. 3 Musketeers is going to have to punch through that, but Mango has dropped his Barbarian Hut game. Fireball plus a Bowler Roll will be enough to take down the 2 Musketeers. Oh,
Wait, he went on the other side?
He spent
Yeah.
Fireball on the other side, and I don't know if that's going to be the right choice here. The Ice Golem drop from Mango was really smart,
Make
changed
another
up the positioning of that play, made the Bowler tag onto the Ice Golem rather than the 2 Musketeers.
And he uses the fireball to speed the death up, but it already came down as another Inferno Tower. It is getting pulled towards the middle, and the second one comes
Nice!
out.
Oh, yeah.
really, I think Mango needs to spend a spell. Actually, that Inferno Tower might be low enough. It's all about trying to cycle your Hog before the Inferno Tower can get back in place. And that's really the only way that Mango's going to get damaged through, in my eyes.
Mango's deck can't really cycle that quickly, though. The reason why he's dropping the graveyard that quickly, oh, he's going to fireball the other side, maybe log it as well.
He's going to have to log it. And I think a Hog Rider on the right side is the best time to do it right now. You have the Barbarian, you have the Mega Minion. If he drops the Inferno Tower, it's going to actually die really quickly. So he's going to opt to drop the Mega Minion instead, and this is going to give Mango damage.
Wow, Mango doing a great job. He is definitely in the driver's seat of this match.
Oh,
no, that's it! That's gonna do it! Mango, just like that, coming in, taking a 2-1 victory against Esopa, knocking him out, going on to the finals. Woo, just like that, one big push on the right, Mega Minion in the air. Did Esopa log that on the right side right there against
He did. He used the log on the right side.
Flying.
This is really the quintessential strength of a Three Musketeer deck, right? You threaten two sides. Now with Lightning being less prominent, it's a little harder to remove them. Fireball Zap or Fireball Log is actually the same elixir cost as Lightning, but the fact that it's two different sources makes it a little trickier to execute. Yeah. Also, he had conflicting motives, right? You want to save the Fireball to make your graveyard work well, but you also want to use a Fireball to take down the two Musketeers on one side. But you also want to Fireball the right side because that's a weaker tower and you want to start cycling that tower down. And so there were so many threats that were presented to Esopa and so many different options that it was kind of which one's the best one? You don't know.
It's a great play for Mango as well, knowing that, right? And making sure that when he split the Three Musketeers, he put the one that you want to fireball on the other side, the tower that's more healthy. And then those are plays that really separate these top players from every other player in the league right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's take
a look at the replay.
Yeah, we'll see it because these are some really close finishes. I can't even. What is happening? What?
The challenge there in a lot of ways was that Bowler was so good, but he almost always had to have a Bowler down. Every time a Bowler was not on the field, that Barbarian HUD deck was slowly taking advantage. Well, this is from game 1, where Mango was able to really time that last second fireball.
Look how close they are.
427 on Esopa's tower.
Yeah, it's
each game
so close. Three Musketeers is going to be demonstrated here, and this is really the key. He has to play the Bowler on the left side to stop the push of the two Musketeers and the Ice Golem, but that means the Hog Rider has a straight run to the right side. Didn't want to play the Inferno Tower because he knew that if he played that, he's going to be 5 elixir down. The Mega Minion is already close enough to wipe out the Inferno Tower. The instant gets dropped, and the Barbarians will be the ones tanking. The Hog Rider is not even going to be the one that's being burned up. And so if you were playing the Inferno Tower in this situation, you're worse off because you're 5 elixir down and the Inferno Tower is going to disappear in a second. Have to play the Mega Minion because that won't get removed, but that's just not enough to stop the push.
What are you going to do? Every single time he cast 3 Musketeers, he was basically generating 3 elixir. I got 12 elixir worth of troops for 9. And that just slowly but surely started to overwhelm Esopa.
Yeah. That's the big thing about Barbarian Hut and 3 Musketeers. They're both generating elixir for you, and they're giving you the elixir in the future, right? So he plays a Barbarian Hut and he waits. Then he plays a 3 Musketeers and he waits. And then eventually you get this push where you got Ice Golem, 2 Musketeers, 1 Musketeer, 2 Barbarians, and a Hog Rider on the other side.
How did I get here?
And how do you stop that for 10 elixir?
Yeah. That was so impressive. Let's take a look at the bracket to see who has made it to our finals.
Woo!
Tin2 and Mango. Okay. You guys mentioned Tin2 earlier. Thinking he would make it.
I'm not sure either of these players have made a finals before, but I believe both have made semifinals before. So this is as far as either of them made
both of them.
And they've got to both be real nervous. Right
Again, this is the final night. No more chances after this. It is all on the line for that 16th Coronation ticket. So let's go ahead and pull up the decks between now our 2 finalists here. It is Tin2 versus Mango. All right, Roman Rainey, walk us through the decks, and who do you think has that slight advantage?
A spell cycle versus 3 Musketeer Barb Hut. In my mind, seems like you've got a lot of the right options. There's a lot of great lightning targets. There's a lot of great excuses to fireball and great excuses to log as well. And because you're not saving any of your spells for any kind of a win condition, basically anytime you find an opportunity to throw a spell at either of those cards, the Hut or the 3 Musketeers, you're going to want to do it. And that's the way that you're getting damage. So I think that'll be really great for Tin2. I'm not so sure about the interaction for the Minor Inferno Bowler against the Expo. We've seen this Expo deck be successful against Bowler decks, to my surprise, but
Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
I'm not sure because he's got Bowler, he's got Barbarian Hut, which obviously is like tailor-made to give Expos a hard time. It's generating troops that you don't want to deal with.
Tanky.
And it's got itself, the building itself has a ton of hit points as well. And it only costs one more than the Expo. So if they go, oh, Expo, and you're like Barbarian Hut, they're not like there's some huge lead or anything happening at that moment.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I've said it in the past, like, oh, Expo's going to fail you in the finals, but that hasn't actually been the case. As recently as Top Notch a few nights ago, I think Odyssey did as well. People were able to push through with Expo in the face of what looked like bad matchups. So I'm not ready to count 10-2 out yet.
So the question for me then is going to be, let's go on side 10-2 first. What is the deck? Because again, we are going to the finals. Reminder, this is a best of 5 here. This is not a best of 3. You can win with one of your decks twice, but you still do have to win with both of them to be the victor. So if you're 10-2, which deck is the one that's going to be the hardest to win against Mango with?
I think it's going to be your Expo deck.
There you go. So you're starting out with it. Oh, the sad face coming up for 10-2 as again, there's that Barbarian Hut. Great defense.
Oh, the Ice Golem, though, came out just in the nick of time to hold those archers off. So the Expo still has, full health, hasn't taken any damage as it starts to work down the Barbarian Hut.
Okay, you guys, breaking news. My dad is for 10-2.
Oh, okay. All right.
There we go. All right. That's a good reminder. And let us know in chat who you guys think is going to take it. Who is going to be the final member going home with $2,000 and that ticket to move on.
A big counter push. The timing was so precise on Mango. Knew exactly when that Expo was going to go down and when he was going to play the Hog Rider. And also the fact that his Mega Minion survived in that Minion versus Mega Minion duel. Mega Minion will often win that exchange, but the thing that threw a wrench in the system was 10-2 played an Ice Spirit. Still was not quite enough to eliminate that Mega Minion, and that Mega Minion was able to take out the rest of the Elixir on the field.
And we talked about this the other Coronation days. If, like you said, even though the Elixir cost of the Barbarian Hut is one more than the Expo's timer just to get warmed up is enough for the opponent to get that 7th Elixir and play it.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, you can already, we've seen so many times, Cycle Golem alongside Expo petting the decks, and Barbarian Hut is 1 Elixir cheaper.
And it's actually doing a good job holding up, but the look at that! He's got 1 Elixir, 2 Elixir! There's nothing to play against this Hog Rider! 1,
wow. It's like a free Hog Rider!
3,
4! I think it's the most hits we may have seen a Hog Rider get. That was incredible. 546 now already down on 10-2's bottom right tower. Mango is looking really good to pick up this first game.
It's tough. I mean, 10-2 is trying so hard to defend his Expos, but it just is not working out. And I feel like this is the way that he might have to change up his line of play. Don't let him play the Hut, and then figure out how to clear out the board and play your Expo when you have Elixir already committed so you can play additional Elixir to make sure you definitely punch through that.
Very nice. I don't know if you saw it, the log knocked back the archers, and then it only took 1 or 2 bolts from each...
to take it out.
To take it down. Unfortunately, the Hog Rider comes in a little early, and is going to just swing on the Expo instead of the tower. Pretty much take it down.
Gosh, there's so many... 1 bolt to the tower.
Yep.
There's so many ground-based units that Mango has in this deck. It's kind of like the opposite of a Lava Hound deck. Almost anything he plays is going to tank for him.
Mango has such a huge Elixir advantage. Even right now, he has significantly more Elixir in the bank while also having more on the field, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a really bad shape, and Expo decks are not decks that play great from behind.
That's a big Ice Spirit drop for 10-2, and he's got actually a lot of damage on the field, and I guarantee you he cycled to his next Expo, and it might be time to drop it. I think he should probably invest in a second Expo now.
Get down on the
You gotta go down. You gotta go down. The first one does lock on. Here comes the second one, Rainey. Just like you said, 213. They're already at the bottom. Oh, just in time. The Archers keeping it up for just enough for the Expo not to lock on.
Curse you,
log
deploy time.
and a fireball is gonna give Mango the first victory here of the finals. Coronation number 16. One step closer to $2,000. One thing that I wanted to say again, as we've seen here, even though that Expo deck looks so weak against Mango's deck right here, Mango can only win with that twice.
Right.
And then once that's out, then it's going to be up to 10-2. So Mango, a great opening, a fantastic play. A note that I also want to say is too, the Ice Golem blew up on the Barbarian Hut, and even though it was slow, the Barbarians that came out of it were not slowed. So I learned that today.
Neat. There you go. Yeah. If I'm 10-2, I am so disheartened at the state of that Expo deck that I'm probably going right to switching to my Barb Hut deck and trying to win some sort of Barb Hut mirror match. I don't know if they've played this matchup out that much or if he has an idea of what's better, but if I have Fireball, a Lightning, and Mirror to mirror these cards, right? I might take my chances to win the Barbarian Hut on Barbarian Hut match but both of his decks don't seem to have a great answer against Hog Rider, and that's something that's really been haunting him.
I think that you should play the Expo deck again.
I think
it's gonna be a risk, but let's play out this situation. If you play the Expo deck and he brings the same Barb Hut deck,
And he loses, or he wins.
let him win.
Right.
Now you don't have to deal with that.
That's what I was thinking.
Then you try to play out your Expo on a different matchup, or switch up your decks to the Spell Cycle deck.
I'd switch up now simply because letting your opponent get to a 2-0 lead so that you win 3 consecutive games in a row is a very risky
tough
strategy, because it's not like Expo or this Barb Hut Spell Cycle are inviolable decks, right? Like, they're decks that can absolutely get caught off guard in a bad opening hand, and then you're in real trouble.
Can we tell what he's done yet?
Already, Tin2 is playing...
He switched, right?
He did switch. The archers are in the Barb Hut deck. So he switched to his own Barb Hut Spell Cycle deck. And let's see what he can do here. He's got Lightning, he's got Fireball, he's got Log. I mean, there's a lot of options here, along with even archers themselves, to help hold off these barbarians regularly. And it's got a lot more answers to Hog Rider.
Oh, there we go. Look at that Barb. Look at the damage just one of them does when it gets to the tower.
Oh, what's that Ice Golem doing there? That's not the right spot. One
Little
Barb is gonna
too
die,
late.
and then the Ice Golem tanks for the second Barbarian. That's gonna slow things up, and this Barbarian
Get him!
won't make it to the tower, but does eliminate the archers. Uh-oh.
No.
He's making a free run for it.
Oh, he's gonna lock
He's
on!
going!
There it is. 1 swing, 2 swings. Man,
Wow.
already Tin2 doing a great
Oh,
job
that one
here.
did the same. It somehow got knocked away by the Ice Golem, or is it just split weirdly in the middle? Oh, I think it's going because the Barb's ahead of it. It's for some reason drifting over that way, and it looks like Tin2 is changing lanes on his Barbarian Hut, opting to go down the weak side. Remember, his deck has a lot of direct damage, more direct damage than any other deck we've seen in this tournament, maybe more direct damage than any deck we've seen in the entirety of the Coronation
Yeah.
day. So if he can just continue to lightning down that Barbarian Hut and just never give it a good opening, this might work out for him.
Now, one thing here as the Hog Rider does go to the middle, Rainy, is just that time where you can use that trick for the Hog Rider to make him jump, and then you'll bypass that completely?
I think that hut is up too far, and the Hog Rider is still going to go towards it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It only happens if you place it 1 tile down,
Yeah.
so it's 4 tiles away from the roof. So, for example, this one, you can actually jump a Hog Rider on this hut.
I don't think so, actually.
If you place on the left side, I believe you can jump your Hog Rider. but-
Okay. Yeah, I think in general, you're playing your Barb Hut up forward like that, and if it's 1 tile further backwards, it wouldn't pull it.
You,
Ooh,
yeah, you
the
might be
fireball.
right. I would have to see. You might be right on that. This is a deadly combo against these 2
Great
musketeers.
Ice Golem. That was
Yeah.
5 elixir to stop 6 elixir worth of troops. In a way, he kind of bought back into that.
Yep.
1 swing? No, Mega Man does not get that little 1 swing.
Man, we talked about the direct
Oh,
damage.
the Hog didn't jump. The Hog didn't jump, and he went straight for the hut.
Look at those Barbs.
Barbarians!
This is actually clumping the Barbarians up, which might end up being more dangerous in some ways to Mango.
Slowly working that building down.
Yeah, that's all he's got to do. Again, 649 to the over 2,000 on both towers of Tin2.
Oh, he's gonna mirror it. Gonna mirror it.
Oh,
he's
there
just
we
gonna
go.
end it.
Given the good game there, and just like that, Tin2 is going to tie it up 1-1 against Mango here in the finals.
Barbarian Hut versus Hog Rider is disastrous for the Hog Rider.
Right. I mean, it's going to kill the Hog Rider and still have about half health left. So in that way, you're almost spending only about 4 elixir to deal with it. You know what I mean? And of course, you get the building sit around. I think Tin2's Spell Cycle deck loves going up against other Barbarian Hut decks because it's exactly what you want. Oh boy, I wish somebody would put a
Just sit
big
down and
vulnerable thing in
slow.
the middle so I
Yeah.
can always get value for my spells no matter what.
So do you switch if you're Mango in that
Yeah, so I
situation?
was
Do you
gonna
kind of go
ask you.
back and forth with the hut?
I think if he expects Tin2 to show up again with that deck, why not? Because your next deck is a minor deck that can totally bypass the Barbarian Hut just by going behind it, right? And then you also have Bowler in your deck.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the Bowler
Great
and
counter.
combination
That's
of
what we've
archers-
seen.
Yeah.
Do you ever play what world do you play a Barbarian Hut behind a tower defensively?
Probably not.
It gains so much value being a defensive structure.
Yeah,
Only
I think
your
that's why.
spawner decks.
You're leaving out the main thing of what it's good at, which is pulling Royal Giants, Giants, Golems, Hog Riders
Sure.
towards the middle. I think the only time is maybe if it was your second one, like you already had one in the middle and you play one behind. But even then, we've seen play the Barbarian up far enough so that the second one gets stacked
Yeah.
next to it.
All right, well, here we go. It's all tied up now in the finals. Again, this is the best of 5. So we'll see which decks. Looks like they bring the same decks again. So here's the thing. If Tin2 wins with this one, he's got to go back to his Expo deck.
You're right. But if Mango wins, then he'll have to switch. And
That's true.
and
The leapfrog.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mind games.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Mango stuck with the same deck because I think he could have pulled the same advantage, that 10-2 advantage of. I think you have a much easier win with your other deck against this, and then you're like, cool. I'm up 2 wins. I need to win one more game, and I have both decks available,
And
so
I can
sort of
choose.
choose which I
Yeah.
think is going to go better.
Already starting off now. The fireballs from Tin2 flying across the side. Mango.
Now, one swing on the blue Mega Minion to the red Mega Minion is going to make all the difference because that Mega Minion would not hit the tower now.
Here comes a Hog Rider into another Barbarian Hut, and the nightmare continues for Mango.
Now, if he wants to play another Barbarian Hut, he will
Oh,
cycle
man.
back to it again.
There's going to
wow,
be
look at the
so much
Barbarian
damage
that
on the
time.
left side.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that guy go.
It's weird because so many people are afraid. Like, you never let the Barbarian hit your tower. You always put archers or whatever in front to shoot them down. You sort of forget when they hit the tower, they do about 200 damage a swing. They do like 160, 180 damage a swing. It's pretty incredible.
That was 700 damage from that lone Barbarian on the left side.
That's crazy.
Yep.
What a.
One Barbarian is, what, 1.25 elixir? It's like not even that
He's
much of a card. all of a
fighting
sudden.
for his kingdom.
Fighting for his kingdom.
He's the guy you see every time you load up Clash Royale.
Good defense so far for Tin2.
the
Stopping
Mega
that
Minion
Hog Rider.
survives. That low health Mega Minion's going to stop
Oh,
everybody. Oh,
two
here's
more
another
barbs.
one!
Oh,
Out of these
that guy's got
exchanges,
some help on
Tin2
him, too.
continually having every single
Wow.
time the board clears, he's got units
Yep.
for the side of Mango.
Oh, the positioning is a little bit wrong.
A little bit of an elixir advantage. I actually think that's the farthest back you can play it where it's still fine and grabs the Hog Rider. If it was one click further back, it would be the problem. But you're right, it's definitely close, and we can see maybe a hog jump. But look at this. Tin2, with 40 seconds left in the round, has 2 nearly pristine towers, and his opponent has 2 around 1,500, taking 1,000 on each of them.
Yeah, this is looking so good right now for Tin2.
Oh, it did draw
that
the
Hog
Hog.
Rider.
Gets two big
two
swings. And that's kind of buying him back into the game. This game is a lot more even. The big problem is the opportunity, right? He's not going to get the opportunity to have that Hog Rider as often as Tin2 is going to have damage coming onto the right side tower just because of the nature of direct damage spells.
Yeah.
What have they not played yet?
Tin2 is holding
Lightning.
Lightning. Yeah, you're right. He hasn't used Lightning yet. And Mango is holding Log? No, 3 Musketeers done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just not seeing a good time to use it. Hog Rider again, getting some good swings in there. Fireball.
Ooh, I think
a
this is
lot
a
of
big opening
units.
for Mango. He should really be looking to cycle his Hog Rider right now and try to clear out the units on the board and throw the Hog Rider in with a tank in front.
Let's see if Mango has learned from the last game going against this. Let's see how quickly he can adapt. Because right now he is definitely hurting. But again, it is that last last hit point that matters.
I think he just needs to fireball once on the right side, and then he can. Oh yeah, he can't mirror lightning for the win, but I think he's close to it. The next mirror lightning certainly can. And of course, that Mega Minion clearing out the Barb Hut buys a lot of elixir back into the game. That's a full health, nearly full health Barb Hut for Tin2. Yet
Mango,
he didn't
Mango
get the
knows
jump.
the time.
He did not get the jump, and that might have been key.
a whole squad of Barb shows up.
But the Ice Golem was taking the
He's gonna go back! That's a swing! That's just a swing! Oh no! Fireball Log though is gonna do it for Mango if he can
He
do that
needs
on
to
the
do
left
it
side.
quick. He's gonna throw one more hog at it.
There it is. Oh! It gets defended from both of the Mega Minions
okay.
just like that.
Okay.
Cheers coming on the side. 199. A fireball goes in. The 27 HP on the right side, and just like that, Mango, who was down that entire game, picks up a win, his second one here in the finals, and now is one more game away from $2,000 and being our 16th Coronation champion.
And he never played the 3 Musketeers.
Didn't need
Didn't
to.
need to.
once.
I'm surprised though because you think that maybe he thought in the last game that's what got him in trouble. Was getting him fireballed
Yeah.
over and
Looks like
over
he learned.
again, and he's like, you know what? I'm just not gonna play him.
Learned his
Don't need him.
lesson.
Wow. Okay, so Rainey, talk to me right there. The Hog Rider getting, I think that one of the huge moments, the Hog Rider gets that jump. He gets pulled over to the side of both of Barbarian Huts, but the fireball comes down, and instead of continuing over the next one, he actually turned and went back to the tower.
The big problem was the Barbarian Hut so there was 2 Barbarian Huts next to each other.
Yeah.
The fireball that came in actually eliminated both of them at the same time. The instant that happened, the Hog Rider went straight for the tower. The other big problem was the Ice Golem squeezed onto the side where the Barbarians were, so the Hog Rider was actually clean, completely clean. Tower was shooting the Ice Golem, Barbarians were swinging on the Ice Golem, and when the Ice Golem died, guess what came in clutch? The slowing effect. combined with the Hog Rider's fast speed and the slowing effect, the Hog Rider was just gone.
Yeah.
The Barbarians were left kind of sitting
Slippery
there.
hog.
I mean, even saying there, Mango threw in
Grease pig.
another Hog Rider that didn't even get a swing on the tower, and still was able to find enough elixir to pull out a victory.
Woo.
That was another heart stopper.
Yeah.
The finals don't go easy. But
Okay.
here's the thing: Mango has to switch. Mango is now playing a bowler minor fireball kind of aggro control. Oh, he switched back to Expo.
Whoa.
Well, he doesn't. No more.
No, Tin 2 can still play his spell cycle deck. He voluntarily switched.
Well, I'm saying so no more for Barbarian Hut for Mango.
Right, you're correct. And it looks like this Expo is going to lock onto the tower. No, the archers are there to block.
But they're not going to be there for long. Oh, the Ice Golem in front.
Wow.
That's going to do a good bit of damage to the Expo. But the Expo still gets...
Weirdly, the miner on the bottom left actually did more than that entire Expo.
Yes.
But check it out, Tin 2 has generated a 2 elixir advantage, taken a damage lead with the explosion of the Ice Golem, and now is in a pretty good position to set up his next Expo.
All right, cheers.
I don't believe his opponent has bowler back again.
Cheers coming out from both of the people, both sides on Mango's arena. Expo coming out. And you can start tanking for it. Again, guards, another thing that we've been seeing. We haven't seen him a ton here, and now making it to the finals. Also, here's another thing. If Tin 2 can come back tied up and win, I think the first time Mears has been able to take a final victory. Is that correct?
I would agree. Yeah, Mir has not won one yet.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
It's going to happen.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
So far, we got 14 spectators all throwing their confetti. Mango must have his own fan base as well.
Yeah, people following him here from the semifinals all the way here to the finals.
And of course, all of Reddit Alpha is cheering for Tin 2 to make it and join the other 7 members of his clan that will be at the arena
They're
battle.
looking for that good old 50-50 split. 8 members of the 16 if Tin 2 can make it.
Oh, a big Ice Bear right on top of the Miner and the Mega Minion, but still not going to change the outcome of that. I think the Inferno Tower would be really great if it can survive, but don't think it will.
Yeah, it survives, but nominally. Like, it's dead now.
Now here's the thing, Roman. I think you called it right, because if Tin 2 can, because right now he's looking pretty good so far, more damage there on the top right tower from Mango. If Tin 2 can take this, he has the chance to stay with this deck, and if it did so good against Mango, who has to stay with his deck, then why not?
You're right, he could maybe pull this one out here with some good gamesmanship, and that's what I love about the double deck format is you really learn the deck matchups. That's so critical to actually know what you need to be playing at the right times. Tin 2 could set up another Expo if he really wanted to, and he does.
Ooh, it's going to be interesting where the bowler is going to be dropped. It's actually slowed down, and I think air units need to be available for Tin 2 the exact moment that bowler drops, because otherwise the Expo just loses so much health to the rolling boulders of the boulder
Good
drop.
miner
there.
turning the Expo around.
The miner, it's like he turns it around, and he's still going to take a little bit of damage, and he's slowly working it down.
Only needs to get down to a certain point before Tin 2 can start spelling down that tower.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, because these use just an Expo to kind of get to a certain point and then start fireballing is what he has?
Yeah, realistically, one more connection could be it. He's already started that path. One more Expo connection will definitely put it into kind of spell cycle range.
The downside is that if you're always casting Fireball, you don't usually have the elixir to actually set up an Expo. You need usually like the 8, 9, 10 elixir to even get that whole plan going.
It's really cool though to see kind of a 2-part deck, right? Where part 1, you use an Expo to get a tower to a certain health. Part 2, you switch to a little more defensive and start spell cycling.
Sure.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Nice positioning on the Ice Golem. We'll turn that bowler around for just a little bit and mitigate a little bit of damage on the Expo. Actually mitigates a lot. That bowler still has not touched the Expo just yet. The Ice Bear is going to jump on the miner, and it's coming close. There's a log. There's an Ice Golem to take just a little bit.
It's coming down just at the last minute every time.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
It's in spell cycle range.
Wow, just like that. It looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we might be going here. He's going to set up another Expo.
Just cuz?
Inferno Tower coming out there, starting to lock
That's a little
on.
greedy though. Oh, great. Ice Spirit did reach it though. And that will help a ton. He's gonna get another log now. Gets the Ice Golem down instead. He's gonna go for the log maybe. Pulls it away.
No,
and it's
just
locked on.
locked on all the way through. It's a good game coming out for Mango. And ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't have it any other way. We are going into a critical Game 5 of the final night of the North American Opens.
In Tin 2, he's got a second win. He's got to feel that habit. He just took a deck that he was struggling with and won against the deck that he knows Mango has to play. Tin 2 actually has the option to play either deck, but I think he was happy with how that Expo turned out.
What's interesting to me is what's really hurting, I've identified, is that the bowler is kind of a little unstable as to whether he will actually lock onto the Expo or not. It makes such a big difference because the bowler attacks so slowly, he actually doesn't do a lot of DPS. a 2 elixir drop like the Ice Golem can really mess things up for you. In addition to the fact that if you spend that 2 elixir on the Ice Golem, then you spend another 3 on a Mega Minion, all of a sudden that bowler is not long for this world.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble because now your biggest health pool is off the table.
One thing I want to say though on the side of Mango though is the last time that he played a deck back to back against Tin2, he learned from mistakes and took a victory. So it might be disadvantage to Tin2 to play that same deck because maybe Mango is going to learn.
$1,000 is writing on your decision to pick your first deck or your second deck.
$2,000 really.
Right, $2,000. So do you go with the bar putt or do you go with the Expo deck? Which one seemed more comfortable for you? Which one do you think Mango learned more about?
Expo can hit the field as soon as right now.
So there it is. He's going with the
And the bowler
Expo.
comes down, but the good play with the minions right there, already wearing it down. The archers are going to be behind it. Now, what can stop that Mega Minion? The Ice Golem.
It's going to lock
Lock onto the archer on the left.
And it does lock him for a little bit, though, just a little.
Not too much damage.
However, Tin2 has only a 1 elixir advantage right now, but you got to be happy with those exchanges. Now, however, he has yet. Well, actually, no, the bowler might be out of cycle. It depends. Look how cheap Tin2's deck is compared to Mango's. A lot of even, like 3-cost cards in Mango's deck. Tin2, though, has a lot of 1s and 2s.
So now that we do see that the deck that Tin2 is bringing is that Expo deck, Rumham, what do you think Mango is going to be doing differently to make sure that he's not going to have a repeat of what happened last time?
Well, I think he was really smart here by trying to go for the aggressive plays when he can. When he thinks that an Expo is about to come out, instead, you just minor aggro attack the other lane. Log does not kill the guards, so you have to commit more elixir to that side to help finish it. And
this is what I'm talking about.
You're right.
This Ice Golem is actually making it so that the bowler. Oh, and that Fireball worked against him because the Ice Golem was just about to walk in front of the Expo, but then the Fireball pushed the Ice Golem away, and that last attack from the bowler just did not roll over the Expo. And look at how much damage he's taken for it.
Wow.
Guys, I think what Mango needs to do is don't actually let him get a chance to set up an Expo. Like, go with a minor guards push now. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you can.
Make him.
Force him to spend his elixir in different ways.
Not even set it up.
Yeah.
Well, now here's the thing. I mean, now that this is, if Expo does win though, that would be a crazy full circle. Coronation won to the final single Coronation battle of 16, having an Expo in both of the winning decks. But a minute left here before we go into overtime. Let's see what Mango can do because he's already starting to fall a little behind.
It's a bummer for Mango too because he had the Inferno Tower, but he just can't seem to get him locked up at the river. There's always minions or Ice Golem or what have you sitting there right at the beginning. And that's made it hard.
And again!
Wow.
Wow.
And that log was, I mean, yeah, it stopped the Expo, but that's like, you have to consider, that's like 2 elixir that you're even further behind. Look at this. He has a huge elixir advantage right now. Tin2 is significantly ahead in the elixir cost because of all those times you have to cast spells that aren't really killing anything, but just taking a little bit of damage off of a low health Expo.
All right, there it is. Ice Spirit now jumping. Inferno Tower locks on, and he's
this'll
not
be it.
locking on the Expo.
Oh,
Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?
There it is again. And every single time, just a little bit. Now, do you think he's in that spell cycle range? Is this about 900 damage?
You get another Expo
yeah.
up. You've
Okay.
already got the
Another
Inferno Tower
Expo.
to help
Yeah, there
guard
it
for a few
goes.
seconds.
Oh, the bowler comes up just in time. Ice Spirit will slow it down. The Mega Minion is going to help clear out those regular minions and extend the bowler's life here. But I think he's going to need to start throwing a few spells. No, actually, enough damage done. Good positioning on the
round
archers.
through.
Just a little bit. Even if he's only getting 100 or so in, it's worth it.
Oh man, the miner just popped up a little too late, not tanking for that Mega Minion. That could have been a really good chunk of damage.
Another Expo maybe is being set up here.
Actually, Mango's taking the elixir advantage lead again, though, so he's got to be pretty careful with it. That's a great placed Inferno Tower that ends up. Oh, these two are going to kill each other.
We won't be. Oh,
Oh wow!
Yeah, the
Because-
other one started first.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because of the nature of the damage ramping, if even if you're only a second or two ahead, that can
it
translate
can
to
mean
a lot.
300
Yeah,
damage,
yeah.
400 damage. All right, so Mango now staying alive, and it
Oh,
looks like
he's
10-2
cycling
is
now.
starting.
Yeah, now he just needs 2 fireballs.
Mango's now or never. Let's see what you can do. Or Tin2 will be making Reddit
Tin2
Alpha.
needs to be very careful while he's cycling to not leave himself open to big counterattacks right now because he's not quite there, I think.
Oh, what about a
Still needs a
fireball?
log and a fireball, but he's still at risk because the miner pops up.
Yep.
He's still
Pretty
at
scary
risk.
looking push right here.
A spell is going to be super
Be careful.
important.
Fireball, the guards are still coming in. The guards can do a lot of damage very quickly.
The good game's coming out though. The fireball's in the air. And that is going to be Tin2 from Reddit Alpha taking a 3-2 victory against Mango here in the finals. Congratulations. You are our 16th champion. That crown is going to be filled with your face.
Reddit Alpha.
Think about this. Ender reverse sweep. Coronation Day #1.
Yeah.
Just a few times ago, Top Notch, Reddit Alpha, reverse sweep in the finals. And we have a situation now where Tin2 is down 2-1, facing elimination. Win game 4, win game 5.
Done.
Seal your chance to go to the arena battles.
Woo, Reddit Alpha, now congratulations. You have 8 out of 16 of your members moving on to the arena battles. What if all 8 in the crown battle, in the crown duels are going to be
I actually
Reddit
think
Alpha?
some of them play each other in the arena battle, so that,
Yeah.
that can't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, well, we have our replay now, so let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Tin2 played so well all match long. Look at that. Just fireball after fireball. And that's really the name of the game, really, for the spell cycle.
The fireball parade.
And there's always a hut in the picture. I
Yeah.
wonder why,
Yep.
right? It's just all about getting value on your spell usage and making sure that you buy enough elixir back so that you can defend the counter push. And then really, really expert expo play. I can't stress how important it was that the positioning of the Ice Golem affected the bowler's attack path, having the Mega Minions and Minions available to kill the bowler. So many situations where the bowler was just ready to do one roll on the expo, but just got eliminated
Golem
right before
pops
it
down.
could.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. The Fireball will actually push the Ice Golem
Gosh.
away, and the bowler throws that bowler there. It's going up to throw the bowler on the expo, but the Mega Minion does the final blow, and it can't do it. And he gets 1,000 damage because of that.
And $2,000.
And 2,000
$1,000 damage, $2,000, a ticket to move on. It just shows the precise placement of units, the precise timing of this game. It really is so. It's not just like, oh yeah, they got really lucky. Like
No.
it's the timing, knowing that where the cycle is in your deck, and well done, congratulations indeed.
Oh, man.
What?
What a night.
Hey,
What
Corey.
a
Mango,
ride.
though, going home with $500 too, so not too bad for
Yeah,
them.
not bad at all.
true.
All right, so we're gonna go take another look at a replay here. Gonna get a little more in depth for you guys.
This was one of my favorite moments of kind of the finals match that we had. Let's take a look at how this Hog Rider connected in Game 3 between Mango versus Tin2. All right, let's hold the replay at this point and take a look at this situation. Now, notice I talked about how the Ice Golem is actually pushed to the right of that Hog Rider. So take a look at that area. See how that Ice Golem is a little bit more to the right side than the Hog Rider is, as well as the fact that the Hog Rider is actually incredibly healthy. All right, now watch. Let's play out this replay slowly and see what the result of that is. Hog Rider gets a swing on the tower. The barbs pop out. Now hold the replay at this point again. And you'll see the fireball is coming down. And the Hog Rider is actually getting shoved by the barbarians, as well as the fact that the Ice Golem has already slowed them down. You can see that by the blue effect. All right, play it through a little bit. And you're going to see the Hog Rider coming across this way to the tower on the left, because it actually got shoved close enough to that left side, went straight for that tower,
Wow.
and just started taking swing after swing after swing. 3 or 3 health is just enough to close out the game. All right, let's go back to the start of the replay and see that play out in real time. And just beautiful execution on Tin2's side, or rather on Mango's side, and really goes to show how great of a card this Ice Golem is. Just for 2 elixir, won him a tournament game.
Yeah. And there it is. But again, congratulations one more time to Mango for making it this far. But Tin2, you're taking home $2,000. Congratulations to you, sir. Now, for the final time, guys, there it is, $2,000, $500 for second. Again, everyone who's made it here, taking home something. 5th or 8th, even $100. 3rd and 4th, $300. Rumham Rainey for the final time. Let's pull up the bracket of the Coronation Day 16 and take a beautiful stroll through what was this night.
Many fallen bodies.
Great start.
Lots of little guys died.
We've got lemons and mangoes on the floor.
Think about this. We started with Double Expo winning. We saw the meta go from Expo to Giant to Golem to Barbarian Hut, and the final winner is running Expo and Barbarian Hut. In a brand new
beautiful
deck.
mesh.
Even on the
That's
16th
amazing.
Coronation Day, we see a deck we have yet to see before win, along with the very first deck we ever saw.
Just reiterating that this is where the top players are, guys. This is where the meta is changing constantly, and it's not done here. So just kind of as a recap, I want to congratulate all of our 16 champions so far. So, over on the wall, we've had Ender, #1, then Clyde, Flash, Backstab, Garrett, Dirty Italian, Gilgamesh, Swood, Lucifer, Marcel P, Darth Jar Jar, Middle Sky, Top Notch, Odyssey, Colton W83, and finally in that final spot is going to be Tin 2.
Those are the 16 you're going to see at the arena battles. Not necessarily the winners of each night, but the person who got the highest who could make it to the arena battles.
Correct.
Not everyone can make it in their schedule.
Correct.
But we have those 16 players you're going to see in the arena battles starting December 9th that appeared from that video earlier.
It's gonna be crazy.
That's right, and then after that, just 8 are going to be moving on to the Crown Duels December 17th, where one winner is taking home $15,000 out of a $100,000 prize pool and have a chance to move on to go to visit Supercell HQ to say thank you for this awesome game, thank you for the money, and get to see kind of what goes on there behind the scenes. Romham, Rainey, any final thoughts here as we close out our 16th broadcast?
It's been a journey for sure. It felt like the 4 weeks flew by really quick. Lots and lots of competitive Clash Royale in a short period of time, and I think the competition has never been seen before in this way, and that's really exciting. Clash Royale is a very great game for competitive gameplay, and I think that people have gotten so much better since the first ever Super Magical Cup I ran, with people were actually, coincidentally, spell cycling each other. A spell cycler won today, but it looks way more refined than it was, and the community is growing, and go back and watch some of the first Super Magical Cups. You will.
Go back to the Helsinki tournament. Dude, at the Helsinki tournament, people were playing Mortar and enemy. No, Mortar's fine, but opponents had Royal Giant, and they didn't think to play Royal Giant into the Mortar. You know what I mean? Like now we see Royal Giant win a Coronation specifically because you can play it into cards like Mortar and Expo.
People are learning.
We've casted so many tournaments together, Rainey. We've only casted, I think, something like 22 Super Magical Cups, and that was over 6 months. And here we did 16 events in the last month alone.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for 2017. It's going to be a huge year for Clash Royale.
New cards.
Tournaments. New cards. But the tournaments are only going to get bigger and better. Just this year alone, so a real quick recap of 2016. We had the Helsinki tournament. We had the Las Vegas live tournament. There was the Shanghai live tournament, the first one that had a big qualifier system using the in-app tournaments, leading this. Super Magical Cup Season 1, Season 2, Clan Royale League, Royale Premier League. There's so many community tournaments, many official tournaments, and it's all building up to the Crown Duel on December 17th, where we're going to see 16, or really 8, of the best players competing for one of the largest prize pools ever given out.
You guys are absolutely amazing. We thank you so much for playing this. We thank you all for watching this and playing and following along. You guys are also amazing. You're the community. You're the glue that holds us guys together. Continue to cheer them on. Continue to follow them on their path to victory. And keep tweeting us out, letting us know who you think is going to be making it. Again, make sure to tune into the arena battles. And then finally the crown duels to see where this all comes to a head. Well, now finally for the last time, guys, tonight, on behalf of everyone here at NGE Studios, thank you so much, Supercell, for allowing us to do this. This has been the Clash Royale North American Opens. That is Rumham. This is Rainey.
I'm Ella.
I'm Christian.
Have a most ridiculous night and life and everything.
Yeah, keep winning. Go out there and win all the games.
Notice you don't have a horse today, Christian? I was about to make a very dark joke about what you said.